Let's do a cheers to the Sobeys and Safely Liquid Beer for the podcast.
We ride again.
I love you guys.
Careful, that cake's hot.
Seconds remaining. 4, 3, 2, 1. It is all over. The Edmonton Oilers have won the Stanley Cup.
For the win. Draisaitl centers. McDavid tips it home. Game over.
Gretzky going in. Suter trying to get back.
It's the 6 o'clock and check-in. Come on, let's go.
And he scores. Leon Draisaitl.
It's the AM Nasty Big Hello.
And there it is. Seth Hyman.
It's the Cool Band Red Hot Nielsen Show. Let's go.
The Oilers pouring it on. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
Smith from behind the net. A wraparound. Horcoff scores. Edmonton wins.
Everybody tune in, even my wife.
Anthony on the fly. Shoots the goal.
And those Macronella intros are cutting like a knife.
That is an absolutely pitifully bad call.
Hey, it's Mitch texting in. He's your dealer for life.
It is Marchand scores.
It's back at 6 o'clock and lager with some sirloin bites.
McDavid, beautiful move. In on the box. What can you say?
Let's see the play.
Here they come, the Oilers. It's dropped back. Bookberger shoots, scores! Bookberger! The Oilers win it!
The Oilers have won the Stanley Cup.
Good morning, everybody. What is going on? It is Dusty and Lieutenant Eric with you. Happy Hallowed! Happy Hallowed Tuesday. What's going on? It's a Tombstone Tuesday. What are you reaching for? What are you doing? Oh, the good. I like his acting.
Nice
He's
one,
on
Zach.
it. He's on it. I saw Trev was wearing my badge last night. Is my badge over by your desk there? Zach, is it on the desk?
Walking around here like a sheriff, eh?
Did Trev wear my badge home? Unbelievable. I saw he was wearing it on the PGS last night. PGS being post-game show. GCLD's a post-game show last night. The Nasty Chat was a fun/interesting place to be after the game last night, I guess.
A little more tempered maybe this morning, but opinions still flying in.
As they should.
They will and
as
should.
they
yes.
should. Absolute piss poor second period from the Edmonton Oilers. It's like you're poking that thing with a stick. You're like, are you dead? Do something. What's going on here? But we'll look. We got some takes that we'll dive into. I know a lot of people last night in the Nasty Chat trying to hang that loss on Stuart Skinner. I says, pardon? I mean, I know that fourth goal was one that, I mean, there was barely any room there. The puck's right. It's kind of lucky on Robertson's part, kind of an error on
8-10.
on Skinner's part.
8-10.
Darnell Nurse kind of doing that classic, I'll go down on my knees like a dog. We'll see what happens here. But the second period, I mean, go back and watch the second period again. Dallas should have scored 6 or 7 goals in that bloody period. It was unbelievable how, I have to say it, earmuffs, kids, how shitty the Oilers were in the second period last night. Like that second period and your lack of doing anything could cost you this series. Like that's when you look back on when we look back on this series, however it goes, and it's not done yet. And we're seeing the same messages we saw after the third game against the Vancouver Canucks. Now, with that being said, the Dallas Stars are a much better team than the Vancouver Canucks. I think that's pretty apparent. So more drastic times here for the Edmonton Oilers. But, win game 4, see where it goes from there. They have to have game 4 now because of that one period in game 3. So your thoughts on all of it, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. And if you're watching over on YouTube today, let's hammer the thumbs up as well, okay? Reg Dunlop says three shots on net in the third period by Dallas, and one of them was an empty netter. Yeah, you're right. But they were so bad in the second period, it cost them the hockey game. I'm sorry, it just did. Very frustrating, I think, especially, Rick, after the first period, right? Like,
Three shots in the first as well for the Stars. I mean, they had six total in ones and threes, but as you said, it's that second that really just jumps off out of the page for you.
I didn't think Dallas was good in the first year. I didn't think the Oilers had like this amazing, great, totally dominant first period. I know they handled the shot clock very well, but I pretty much rewatched the entire game after I watched it once, kind of breaking it down and doing some work after. And the first period was a really good period for the Oilers. I don't know if it was necessarily a great period that was all on the Oilers. I thought Dallas was kind of just like going through the motions, and then obviously they got a reckoning from their head coach in between periods because they came out and absolutely dominated the Edmonton Oilers in the second period. Oilers were lucky to get one late to have that game tied at 3 and set the stage for the third period. 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. That, my friends, is the Paris Jewelers inbox today. If you're looking to cheer yourself up after the loss yesterday, why not get engaged, right? That'll do it for you. Go to parisjewelers.com or any of their 22 locations in 4 provinces. Flexible payment options, including do not pay for 1 year, and they've got a large, high-quality selection of engagement rings, including the lab-created ones, at great prices. So we will get into that as we work our way through the show. The inbox already taking a nice little pounding this morning. So keep pounding the box at 780-218-9999. We'll get to a few of those. Of course, one of you will end up winning text of the day for A and a W. Whistle Dog is back. Pick one up today. You will love it. Whistle Dog has returned at A&W for a limited time only. So make sure you pick those up as well. 780-218-9999. We will get into the nasty chat. I saw a Teef roll into the nasty chat, no pun intended, a little bit earlier on. Says, good morning, AM Nasty's tough loss. Wheels, I got to ask you, bro, why were you calling me last night? Like, I just about to lay down in bed. My phone's ringing. What time did this guy call me at last night? Teef, what's the story behind this? Was this a pocket dial? Or did you actually think I was going to pick up the phone at... Oh, it was only 9:32. Still, I'm not picking up. Anyway, Atif, what was going on there? I need the backstory on that.
Nurse butt save and he does a butt dial, eh?
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's what it was. The Dallas Stars get Roope Hintz back, and it's like he brought Jason Robertson with him.
A 2-for-1.
Well, but that's what it is, right? Like Jason Robertson had been barely noticeable through the first 2 games of this series. Roope Hintz returns, and all of a sudden he looks like a guy who could score 50.
And that, too, again, from the Canucks series. This is a little different. When you got a guy like that returning and unlocking a guy like Jason Robertson, another cause for concern moving forward.
Reg Dunlop is wondering if Wheels left a message. I don't know, because my voicemail's not set up. It hasn't been set up for like 3 years. I just thought nobody left me a voicemail for like 36 months. But apparently it's not set up. It's just not set up. Lots of comments on where it went wrong. We'll continue to break this down as we work our way through the show today, for sure. If you need a conch this morning for a good reason, or you need a conch as a pick-me-up, that's where you can text us. We're coming at you from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio today. A crispy buffalo chicken wrap now available, along with the buffalo poutine. Both of those options at all Popeyes locations, all right? So if you're looking for the best damn chicken in the entire city, you can find it at Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio. RCN is in it. Says, so some people mocking their vaunted depth after game 1 and 2 with Hintz out. I mean, I'll say I was, but it's not like all of a sudden their depth was better last night. Roope Hintz came back. He's their best player. He got their other best player going. I mean, that was not a depth victory by the Dallas Stars last night. That was a Roope Hintz and Dallas Robertson show. Right? It's not like all of a sudden everybody. What are you talking about here? I mean, the Dallas Stars' top 2 forwards essentially won them that hockey game last night. I don't understand how that ties into the depth of the Dallas Stars, because I mean, outside of those 2 guys, the rest of the team was last night was, they were good. but it's not like the Oilers were absolutely destroyed by the third and fourth line. Sammy Steele and the boys. Like,
Wyatt Johnston had another goal.
Yeah,
Ben had a pair of
Johnston's been
assists.
their best player the entire playoffs.
I mean, you look at the time on ice, not so much maybe from a scoring point of view, but just how they come at you at waves. It doesn't. Sometimes you're. Is that the top line out there? Is it the fourth line? They all play kind of the same. It's not like the Dallas Stars are sending three guys over, and you're like, okay, this is going to be easier. It just continues and continues and continues. And I'm talking about like the forecheck and things like that. Not necessarily the offensive output, but that team, top to bottom, that forward group. And don't get me started on the blue line. Lindell, Heiskanen, close to a half an hour of ice time.
Lindell's a
logging
player,
it.
man.
Those guys
Lindell's
and that
a
blue
player.
line, again, we talked about. But I love the forward group. They come at you at waves. You can play them anywhere up and down the lineup. They don't care. A little grizzled veteran mixed in with youthful exuberance. Yes, Roope Hintz returns, unlocks Jason Robertson, but I don't know, man. I still like how that second period. I mean, they were on it, dog on a bone, wave after wave, line after line, boom.
No answer from the Oilers there.
That's the depth, the quality depth that I would not necessarily reflecting on the score sheet, but
The problem though is that the Oilers shot themselves in the foot.
well,
Right, like
haven't heard this before, have we?
Like Connor McDavid and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins just stopped playing when they got up 2-0. I know
16 minutes between shots or something like that between the first and
it was
that,
insane.
We've seen that before though.
I know last night in the Nancy chat, people were trying to hang this thing on Skinner. Are you bloody kidding me? We'll get
Well-
into that as we work our way through the show.
But we do talk about moments.
Well, I mean, yeah,
And-
okay,
and-
yeah, but
I'm not
if
hanging
it's
it
not
on,
for
no.
Skinner in the second period, they allow 6 bloody goals.
Sure, yeah.
They were god awful in front of him in the second period. Even after they tied it at 3. Grade A scoring chance. Moments later, right in front. After they fell behind 3-2, another breakaway opportunity. Vincent Desharnais, what are you doing on the third goal? You got Darnell Nurse. I know it's a scary idea to give him the puck right now. I get it. But all you have to do is backhand that pass over to Darnell Nurse. Instead, you try to hammer out the boards. It's turned over. It's in the back of the net.
All you have to do is
What are
backhand
you
the pass to
doing?
Darnell. Just
I mean,
say
but
that
that
again.
should be-
Say that again slowly. I know it
That's
should
a
be
routine play.
It should be to a guy you're paying that much money
Routine
to. But
play. Like, and
if
then
it's not,
they killed themselves on the goals, and then they had no response to get out of it. So
power play.
yeah, not many of
Over.
them, but doing nothing.
No, but still
That's
over.
doing
You
nothing.
had 2 chances. Tight game, tight series. You had 2 chances, didn't take them.
This team, it's bizarre how they're sitting here, and I saw Mike D over on the nasty chat. Where's Mike D? Anyway, he said like he had a ton of confidence in this. Oh, here we are, Mike D. Here we are. 12 hours ago, I was at the peak of confidence in this team. Now I'm at the Marianas Trench of confidence. That's the deepest point of the ocean, is it not?
Yeah.
I mean, he's very concerned right now.
Banned too, I think.
I understand.
Well, and look, it's again 1,000 cuts, and you mentioned beating themselves. We can talk about coaching, right? And the lack of calling a timeout during that flurry of 16-7 shots in the second period. There's a lot of moments last night that you can kind of point to, albeit combined, lead you to the loss. Nurse, CC again, pairing, things like that.
I don't know
Vincent
how those
Desharnais,
guys get on the ice together
yeah.
anymore. I mean, Darnell Nurse, we'll get into Darnell Nurse. We're going to get to some of Darnell Nurse's garbage post-game comments. So we'll get into that a little bit as we work our way through the show this morning as well. I know everybody last night on Twitter was like, Darnell Nurse saved that with his ass.
Well.
And that was right pre-collapse. It was kind of the beginning of the collapse.
We don't get that now.
Can somebody please explain to me why a defenseman who makes over $9 million is on his knees in his crease facing his own net? Like, come on, man.
Kind of twerked it
What
too, eh?
the hell are you doing?
Yeah, he did. He kind of bounced. Like I'm watching it. You watch it again. He gets it low and kind of.
It does it.
But you don't get the
doesn't-
butt game now because it's all for naught. Yeah, it's an expensive piece of ass. Say that, right?
the old classic mid toss. Oh, that's too funny. All right, let's go. We're with you this morning. Let's talk this through. Now, with that being said, it is a best of 7. We had to say the same things in the series against the Vancouver Canucks, and everybody bailed after Game 3, and everybody bailed after Game 5. If you look at the first period, I mean, this whole series has been tight. Even last night's game, with an absolute soiling of themselves in the second, it was still there for the taking in the third period. So it's not insane to think that the Edmonton Oilers can win Game 4. It's just a matter of if they can win 3 of 4 against the Dallas Stars, which is going to be tough to do. But they're not done yet. I know you feel awful today. I know you're devastated. You're destroyed. I wish I was at home this morning when Marshall wakes up and finds out what the hell happened in the hockey game last night, because he went to bed after 2 periods and the kid was just living his best life, and it was killing me inside because we had baseball last night at 6:30. So I was like, I'm not going to listen. I'm not going to check the phone. By the way, Fireballs last night got destroyed. I don't know how we played like the Division All-Star team last night.
Well, did you get tossed
that
by
team was good.
inning 2? You were kind of out of there.
No, I mean, I wanted to. Like, that team must have hit like 7 bombs last night. It was just like, oh my God.
Who are they, the Blue Jays?
They're called the Marios.
Oh.
And they're good. That's a good U9 baseball team. Anyway, I was just like, I'm not gonna check my phone. We're gonna go home and watch a game from start. And then sure enough, partway through, like, I guess it would have been late in the first period of the hockey game, I hear a dad go, 2-0 Oilers. I was like, damn it, man.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? So then at that point I was like, F it. I'll just keep checking the score. So we get home. Marshall has a quick bath. We sit down to the game. We're watching the first period. I already know that Dallas is up 3-2 in the second. And we're watching the first, and he's just like partying, celebrating the goals. I'm like, oh, this is killing me. My son's going to be devastated in the morning. So, and he wakes up today. It's going to be a tough one.
Part of being a dad, hey, watching live as your son learns real life lessons in front of your face, eh? And you can't do a thing about it. Nor should you, because that would be interacting in nature, right?
Yeah.
You're kind of...
When he's all fired up after watching the first, and it was already kind of late because we were delayed, obviously. And he's like, Daddy, can I watch the second? And I was like, listen, son, I think you probably need to go to sleep tonight. Like 20 years from now, he'll pull me aside and be like, Dad, thanks for making me go to bed after the first period of Game 3 against Dallas in 2024. I know it's going to happen. So, yeah, that was...
so you guys will have that second period for a different than the most Oilers fans.
Yeah. It was... wow. All right. Your thoughts on all of it, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999, and we'll get into a bunch of those. The inbox is very, very, very busy. RBM is in and says, guys, I couldn't believe that they were still in the game after the second period, right? Like that Henrique goal was your kind of moment to be like, hey, surprise, it's still an even game heading into the third.
It's the playoffs, right? Anything can happen, and you can go against the grain, and that goal certainly was huge. But, I mean, and going back to Skinner, too, I mean, that Marchment breakaway, that could have, I mean, floodgates could have really kind of opened there. He got a little piece of that off the White Walker there in Mason Marchment. But, yeah, I mean, it's tied up heading into the third, but the pace of play and certainly that second kind of choked it out of them. And I think, again, what's the main thing? The main thing you got to pull from last night is the introduction of Roope Hintz.
Oh, 100%.
That we can talk about the Oilers. We can talk about beating themselves and Nurse and all that, coaching, whatever you want to chalk it up to. But this seems to have been a bit of a series changer. Game changer, definitely, but a series changer as well. You can kind of feel that. And that's the difference. That's the difference with that Canucks and all the rest. This seems like a different flavor here. You mix that in with the depth that Dallas already possesses. As I said, not connecting on the score sheet, but just coming at you waves and waves and forward checking. And the blue line, like it's just top to bottom, real solid. And again, though, if the Oilers, we said on the eve of the postseason beginning, the biggest detriment to the Edmonton Oilers could be themselves.
Yeah, I mean they play really well for stretches and then just forget what they're doing.
They can hang with any team in the league.
It's wild.
But
Dex is in and says, when McDavid pumped it into the side of the net with the wide open cage, I started to have a bad feeling. McDavid seems to be needing 2 or more attempts to burying pucks that were automatic in the past. And this text is in as well. No name on this one. First period, the Oilers attacked the Dallas puck carrier. The second and third, they just stayed a comfortable distance away from the Dallas puck carrier and gave them all kinds of time to decide what they were going to do with the puck. I've said it before. 2 more steps towards the puck carrier, and you're either getting the puck or you hit the man, but you give them much less time to decide what to do with the puck in those situations. Hit us up in the nasty chat. Hammer the thumbs up over on YouTube this morning. That would mean a lot to us. And we'll get to more of your messages. Let's lay out the show, then we'll get into your morning announcements here today. We've got the morning after show coming up for EM Utility Locating. Should be interesting. We'll go there. More of your reaction, obviously, to this game last night. Jamie McLennan is going to join us. Craig Button has a breakfast at the Memorial Cup this morning, so he can't join us. He's going to slide in tomorrow. Noodles was able to flip to today. So Jamie McLennan will join us just after 7 o'clock today. After Noodles, right around 7:15, 7:20 today, we will call the winner from yesterday who will get a spot in the $100,000 hole-in-one contest right here at Edmonton Sports Talk, brought to you by Golf Town. Okay, so be ready for that. If you were one of our 4 qualifiers yesterday, be by your phone. Now, Maddie has told us that if they don't pick up, we have the name. We call them. If they pick up, we let them know. If not, their name goes into the draw. All right, so we'll get into that. And then after we call the winner, we'll give you today's keyword to get in and try to qualify for that $100,000 hole-in-one presented by Golf Town as well. Cool Bet Hotline of the day coming up just after 7:30, between 7:30 and 8. Great half-hour segment on the show. Weekly Confessions brought to you by Spectrum Rental. And then the Fan Zone for fansfirst.ca. If you want to get tickets to the Oilers playoff games with no fees, that's where you get it done. Fansfirst.ca. By fans, for fans, no fees at fansfirst.ca. The Fan Zone should be interesting today as we dive into only your messages during that segment, and there are a lot of them. Kind of easy trivia for Mr. Mike's. 3 questions too many for Park Mazda. The debut of our new segment, That Hurts.
Ow.
For SBLLP injury lawyers. We're going to get into that coming up. And Joaquin Gage is going to... Ow. You got me on that one.
In quotes, yeah.
Gager is going to join us just after 8:30. We'll get his thoughts on the loss. We'll get his thoughts on the play of Skinner last night. Comedy Festival tickets for the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival coming up right after Gage today, and then the wrap for William Huff this morning. So yes, we have a jam-packed, non-stop 3 hours of content today. You're not going to find that anywhere else in the entire city. So tell your friends about that, please. Let them know they can listen on TuneIn or on iHeart or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, or of course, watch us over on the YouTube, where if you are watching, sub to the channel, give us a like today, and as Zach says sometimes, turn on notifications. Let's get into your morning announcements here. All right, congratulations to the Boston Celtics, who are advancing to the NBA Final, walking all over the Pacers.
Okay, so I think I was reading this right. If the Mavs complete the sweep tonight, you got 8 days off before the finals.
Yeah, like 8 full days off. The NBA Final will not start, I believe, no matter what, until June 6th, which is that next Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
today's Tuesday.
Yeah.
It could end tonight. That's like 9 days.
We praise the NBA for some of their out-of-the-box thinking at times, and things come at them when it's...
I mean, if both of these series, if both the NHL series were going to end in sweeps, like the Stanley Cup Finals not starting until June 8th no matter what.
Sure, yeah.
Right? So it's the same type of thing. There just happen to be 2 sweeps in the NBA. If there was 2 sweeps in the National Hockey League, by all accounts, the Stanley Cup Final doesn't start till June 8th. So luckily for the NHL, that Florida Rangers series, I think it's going to be a long one. I still think this one's going at least 6, if not 7. So there should not be the scary layoff. Like the NBA as a league right now is probably like, come on, Minnesota. Come on, Minnesota.
Give us a couple here.
Take a couple here. The phone call goes to Luka and Kyrie and be like, hey, guys,
ease off.
Can you let up just for a little bit? Like, we know you can finish him whenever you want. So we'll take a game 4 and a game 5 at least, if not a game 6. And from a Dallas perspective, mixing that game 6 home gate might not be the worst thing in the world. So that is done. That is locked in as well. But enough of that, right? Before we even get the text messages or the nasty chats about, okay, enough NBA talk, we'll get back to your thoughts on the Edmonton Oilers here as well. The nasty chat is, it's busy today. Let's just say that.
Yeah, but we've been here before. We'll get through it, and we'll crack this case. We'll solve it. A variety of things to discuss on both sides last night. Do you call it a collapse or do you call it a comeback? Again, another blown lead. Dallas great on the road. That continues. The penalty killing, and then the Oilers, you throw into all of that mix, them beating themselves, and that might be the ingredient.
That's why you look
really
at it
stings
to be
here. Yeah,
a collapse because of the mistakes that they made. Like Nuge, get that puck out. get that puck out at the blue line on the one goal. Like it's just.
And McDavid mentioned post-game as well, like Dallas upped it in the second period, and he said his team, captaining the Oilers,
Yeah, they went up
they
some levels
went
and
down.
they didn't, yeah.
So fully admitted from the captain.
Well, they did though, right? Like,
No, and he said it. They
I mean,
went
if he was
down.
to say anything else, we'd be like,
Sure,
well, you're
but-
ridiculous. Like Darnell Nurse's answer last night when he was asked about how do you allow 13 consecutive shots from a team. We'll get into that as we work our way through the show this morning. All right, let's get to a few of your messages here today. Penner's Pancake says they just can't seem to put together a solid 60-minute performance. They just need to be 70% of what they did in the first, and they win that. That was an utter collapse. Buster TN says, so why is there such surprise this year? And even though Skinner has had some good games, his save percentage is going down game by game in this series as well, pretty much like last year. I mean, we'll get into the Skinner conversation, but we're going to have two goalies on the show today, Jamie McLennan and Joaquin Gage, and I don't think either of them are going to hang this game on Stuart Skinner. You're just not. I mean, the fourth goal, that one stinks. It does. It stinks. But how many grade A's did he stop in the second before, during, and after the 4-minute stretch where they completely collapsed? I'm sorry. You cannot hang part of the loss. Sure, part of the loss is on everybody last night. Nobody gets away from that. But you can't just sit here. It's way too lazy of take to text in this morning or message in on the Nasty Chat this morning or last night on Twitter or last night in the postgame show to just go, well, blame that one on Skinner. Are you serious? Watch the game, man. You cannot sit there and hang that entire loss on their goaltender. You just can't. And you know why you can't? Because then you're giving all those other guys a pass. All those other guys who stood around and did nothing for 14 minutes. You're just like, well, you know, who cares what they did? It's look at their goalie. Wrong. Whew. Fired up today, man. This is going to be a hell of a show. Today. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. I'll double back on what I said. In game 1 and 2, Skinner was their best player. Skinner was their best player in the first 2 games of this series. And yeah, the fourth goal last night, that was a tough one. But the first goal, you let Jason Robertson absolutely tee one up. The second one, he makes the first 2 saves. There's a mad scramble in front, and his team that's standing right there watching can't get the puck properly, or this just in, pick up a man. And then on the third goal last night, Vincent Desharnais, what the hell are you doing? Desharnais can't handle this series. Like this is a real good thing for the Oilers from a long-term perspective, that they're not sitting there going, hey, Desharnais, nice series against Vancouver. Here's $2.5 million.
Well, you think
like, you can't do it.
You
can't do it.
Sounds like a dare to me.
You can't do it.
Sounds like a dare to me.
Vincent is
We've
over
seen,
his head
but
in
we've
this
seen
series.
postseason performances before, and then you kind of go, yeah.
Well, that being said, he almost scored the game-winning goal and it went off the post.
Almost.
All right, 780-218-9999. Jamie Bennett says, Dusty reminds me of Frank the Tank after a Mets loss. It's when they, well, we got a sports update coming up. The fun continues here. We're going to get into your EM Utility locating morning after show. We're going to hear what Darnell Nurse had to say about, man, it just happens. Are you serious, dude? Jamie McLennan just after 7 o'clock today. Gager at 8:30 today. A chance to get in on the Edmonton Sports Talk $100,000 hole-in-one contest. We'll go there around 7:15, 7:20 today. So we'll get to all of that. But we will hear from Darnell Nurse, who has 2 points and is minus 12 in the playoffs. Coming up here just after 6:30 in your morning after show. Zacticum, you got the sports updates here with LTE? All right, let's get to a sports update for Green Plan with Lieutenant Eric. Morning after show on the other side.
Stars coming from 2-0 down to knock off the Oilers 5-3 last night. Dallas now lead the Western Conference Finals 2-1. Game 4 tomorrow night back at Rogers Place. Rangers, meanwhile, they'll take a 2-1 series lead in the Eastern Conference Finals. Game 4 tonight against the Panthers down in Sunrise. Celtics are off to the NBA Finals after completing the 4-game sweep of the Pacers, 105-102. Mavericks look to sweep aside the Timberwolves tonight from Minnesota, tip-off 6:30. Jays homered 3 times to take Game 1 of a 3-game road series with the White Sox 5-1 yesterday afternoon. The series continues later tonight. Kevin Gausman set to start. First pitch 5:40. Moose Jaw Warriors fell to 0-2 after a 5-4 loss to the London Knights at the Memorial Cup. Warriors take on 0-2 Drummondville later tonight, while a battle of the undefeated will go tomorrow between London and the host Saginaw Spirit. Sports Update brought to you by Green Plan, providing you with award-winning environmental planning and consulting services. Whether it's municipal, industrial, or residential, plan it right with Green Plan. Visit green-plan.com or give them a call, 780-455-4292.
Being a fan of the Oilers today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to have your say? It's the morning after show where we will talk about the game and let you know who you should blame. You want a show where you will know if the problems are still the same. You want a show every morning after the game. You want a show so people know if the problems are still the same. You want a show every morning after the game.
All right, it is the morning after show brought to you by our partners over at EM Utility Locating, as it has been all season long. The EM Utility Locating morning after show. Call 780-222-9497 or visit www.emutilitylocating.com. And don't kill yourself. GPR and concrete scanning, damage prevention, planning, design, education, and training. All of these things keep you alive for the job that you are doing where you need a little bit of help to make sure you're doing it safely and make sure you're doing it right. www.emutilitylocating.com. The EST big moment that happened.
You
Where
could
you
go
going,
to
buddy?
the Robertson hat trick goal, 4-3, the eventual winner, but I'm just going to go with the second period. It is the moment. It's a larger moment of sorts, but it is the moment. I mean, you've said it. This could be a season-defining period for this team. Certainly you hope not. But, again, 3 shots in the third for Dallas, 3 shots in the first, 16 in period 2, to which they took it to the Oilers. So I'm going to go with that entire period. Again, barren wasteland of no shots for the Oilers of a stretch of, 16 minutes again? 13, 16 minutes? That second period. Aside from the Robertson eventual winner, which, again, in the nasty chat, 2 things can be true at once. I mean, Skinner did make some saves. Could have been a lot worse in the second. However, and they said it on the play, you had an overtime feel. Henrique gets that goal to tie it up. Maybe you have no business getting that goal to tie it up, but you're there.
Yeah.
You're there. So the second period happened. It's behind you now. But midway through the third, in a kind of an overtime feel, and that, you got to just have that, right?
Yeah, but also, what is Darnell Nurse doing on that play?
Fair enough.
If Darnell Nurse
enough.
just puts his stick towards Jason Robertson probably goes behind the net with it.
It takes
Instead,
a village
he
here,
does nothing.
Not hanging it all on Skinner.
He does nothing.
But that goal certainly, it turned out to be the winner. It was a tight affair, knotted up midway through the third. But the second period is my answer as a whole.
Yeah, they scored 5:35. They scored 8:05. They scored 9:08. There's no timeout called at all, even though I don't know how you could not see that your team was so on their heels. They had no response.
It's a time to do it. That would be a...
That was a little bit weird to me. And then, at points they were throwing 29 and 97 back together. If they come out in game 4 with McDavid and Draisaitl together, series is over. Like that is not the path to victory in game 4. The path to victory in game 4 is not the rest of the team just completely standing around and doing nothing for 15 minutes. Like, come on. Yeah, the big moment. There's so many of them in this hockey game.
You can even go back earlier on. When the Oilers were putting on pressure in that opening period, and the power play is still bone dry, and you could have thought maybe you could have made a lot of hay there in that opening period, and really not just a 2-0, but
you can even look at Robertson's second goal, the one that tied it at 2. Like you've only given up the 1 at that point. You're sitting there. You're still not in an awful spot if you get going again. and they don't get going again. Puck doesn't get out. It ends up in the front of the net, and he's able to bang it in. I mean, they're all just horrible. You know what one, which I know they came back and tied it. I mean, like I honestly think you can make a case for any of these goals for the Dallas Stars. There's big moments that happened in this hockey game. The Wyatt Johnston goal came just a minute and 3 seconds after they had tied it at 2, which was a bit of a backbreaker in that situation, I guess.
But it all even going into it was all there in the final frame. Like as weird as it sounds.
I mean, neither team really pushed much in the first 10 minutes of the third period.
Yeah.
Right? The Oilers got a bunch of their shots at the end when they were trying to push. Gerg over on the Nasty Chat says, bigger picture, guys and gals. Neither of the Oilers or Stars will not piss a drop against the East the way that series is going. The physicality is on another level, and the Stars and Oilers are soft.
Well, we were saying much of this in the second round between the Canucks and Oilers, and this team, whichever team came out of that series, get eaten up by either the Stars or the Avalanche. It's 2-1 right now.
We'll see where this goes. Yeah. I mean, whoever comes out of the West, I think it's an easy take to just be like, well, you're just going to get rolled over. But I mean, well, let's see. Let's see how it ends up playing out as well. Buster TN says the fact that DeBoer hasn't made a huge boneheaded move yet is pretty stunning here as well.
He's going to do something.
The super stat of the night. What are you going with the super stat of the night, buddy?
Well, I'm looking at the other goaltender as well, of the 933. Now, again, you could argue maybe not tested to his full capabilities there. I mean, the Nurse line, and not just his line from last night, but you look at his what is he, dash 18? He pretty much cancels out Bouchard.
He's minus 12.
Yeah.
Bouchard is plus 12.
So you're kind of...
But he's been on the ice for 18 even strength goals against in the playoffs.
It's... getting a little sick here.
That is not not a good stat.
Yeah, it's not super, but it's the complete opposite.
I mean, I think the super stat from this hockey game, I don't want to take anything away from Robertson's hat trick, but Roope Hintz returns to the lineup. He's got 2 assists. It leads to Robertson having 3 goals in the hockey game. We'll get into it with Noodles on the Roope Hintz return as well, and how do the Oilers answer that? How do they have to play him differently? Hintz and Robertson, best line on the ice last night. Had not said that about any line involving Jason Robertson prior to the return of Roope Hintz as well. So the Roope Hintz, 2 assists, plus 2. His line mate, who hadn't scored in 10, all of a sudden bangs in 3. I think I'll tie that into the super stat of the night for last night's hockey game.
Rick Bowness warned us.
When Roope Hintz returns.
Bones was on it.
This is why Bones was a coach in the National Hockey League for almost 4 decades. The 3 stars last night: Jason Robertson, Connor McDavid, and Roope Hintz. Who's your 4th star of the game last night?
I'm going to go back, and it's going to be a 2-headed monster from the Stars' blue line. I'm going to go with Heiskanen and Lindell, close to a half an hour of ice time between the two. Again, we're not going to talk too much about the Stars' blue line this morning, but I think those 2 guys out there and doing what they do. Heiskanen, obviously, with the empty netter, Lindell providing an assist as well on the evening. So I'm going to go with the Stars' blue line as kind of shoring things up and being that 4th star together, that top pair.
38th star of the game last night, and we'll hear from him coming up here. Darnell Nurse finishes minus 2. Played the 3rd most minutes on the back end. Bouchard played almost 25 minutes. CeCe played almost 21 minutes. Ekholm played almost 21 minutes. Darnell Nurse played 19 and a half minutes last night. Just did not like his game at all. Steady Eddie of the evening. This is usually an Oilers.
McLeod didn't do much.
Yeah,
that's as steady as you get from the prior performance.
Steady Eddie of the evening last night. Top 6. Meh. You know what? Adam Henrique returned to the lineup last night.
Got a goal.
Had a goal. Had 4 hits. Didn't even play over. Well, played 13:41 last night. Finished +1 on the night. I guess I'll go. He hasn't played in a few weeks.
Can't ask much more.
No,
he's not your Roope Hintz comeback player.
He did more last night than Ryan McLeod had done in any game basically since April. So Adam Henrique, I guess, will be your steady Eddie of the evening last night. Overall, if I was expanding it to both sides, probably go with Jake Ottinger as the steady Eddie of the evening last night for the Dallas Stars. You can chime in 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. We have not talked about it yet. Leon Draisaitl does not have a point in the last 2 games of this series. I mean, one of the things, if Roope Hintz is going to step up and play this well, Leon Draisaitl probably going to have to take over a game here at some point. We got Darnell Nurse locked and loaded here. We don't even really need to listen to all of Darnell Nurse, but let's get to the first part of Darnell Nurse here, and then we'll have a discussion. Might get to a little bit more as well. We have the captain, right? We got Connor McDavid we can get to as well here in your morning after show for EM Utility, locating your text messages to 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Here's Darnell Nurse after the game last night.
No, we're jumping into plays and making it count when they got opportunities. So they had a push there at the beginning of the second period, and our response just took a little too long. And they were able to get the lead.
How do you explain that at this time of year, Darnell, the 13-0 on the shot clock, them pushing so hard and you guys not having a response?
It's hockey. It happens. Teams have pushes. Teams respond. Found our way to get ourselves to the third period in a tie game. So our response wasn't non-existent. It was there.
You didn't give up much at all off the rush in the first 2 games. Tonight, a lot more. Connor talked about how they stretched it out a bit, and you guys seem to get disconnected. How do you, if they want to play the stretch game, what do you have to do to ensure that you're not disconnected?
Yeah, it comes down to just beating guys back to our zone. And then when they do make that play, they have to come through numbers. We didn't make them come through numbers enough when they stretched the zone on us. They're a good offensive team. They obviously play that way and have success doing it. So for us, we just got to make sure that when they're stretching us out like that, we are in between them and the net and make it difficult.
Is it? I mean, it sounds like it's fairly tactical in terms of their changes, but is it battle level? Is it compete level when it gets that far away from you guys at that point?
I mean, it's a combination of everything. I think. It's just finding a shift to grab it back, and it could just be a simple shift, getting the puck in and grinding down a little bit. And we didn't, like I said, we found it later in the second period there, and we're able to tie up the game and go into the tie game there in the third period. And it's we just got to grab it a little quicker.
Kind of similar to last game in the third period, tight check and not a lot of chances, but they find one both times and you guys don't. Frustrating at all, and what do you think you need to do to find one?
Just keep playing. This time of the year, there's balances, and you got to give yourself the opportunity as much as possible. And when the games are tight, we've been a lot of tight checking games here in the last 2 weeks. So when you just got to give yourself the most amount of chances possible, and want to go in.
Seemingly, have lost games like this before. A game, Vancouver game in Game 1, we're able to overcome it. Is that something you can maybe draw on a little bit as you try to reach back to Game 4?
Yeah, 100%. That's what playoffs is about. All the experience that you build up over the course of the season. So we have some fairly fresh, fairly fresh stuff to draw back on, and for us, we just come out and have a good Game 4.
All right, so there's Darnell Nurse. We'll discuss this. Dr. J texts in and says, "Hey Dusty, when your fireballs get destroyed in U9 baseball," that's just baseball.
It's what are you gonna do?
We had a triple play against us last night.
Yep.
Hey guys, that's just baseball.
Were you frustrated?
Oh, I was frustrated.
You did that
it was a
frustrate
fly ball. All the kids started running. Part of me, I'm going to take some responsibility.
Oh, you're the
That's
coach.
what I'm gonna take responsibility as a coach. I got to teach these kids that when the ball is hit high in the air, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're just kind of running around the bases.
You called the timeout after that play.
Yeah, well,
didn't you?
I wanted to. So Darnell Nurse, right off the top, that one question. I hate the answer. I hate the answer.
As somebody in the Nasty Chat points out, from a member of the leadership core.
It's just. Zach, can you reload that again? It was right off the top. We can play. I want to just go back to it quickly. Reload Darnell Nurse again. Let's just hit it one more time right off the top. Zach, watch for me. I'll tell you when to get out of it. It'll be pretty quick here. Let's listen to the beginning of this one more time.
We're jumping into plays and making it count when they got opportunities. So they had a push there at the beginning of the second period, and our response just took a little too long. And they were able to get the lead.
How do you explain that at this time of year, Darnell, the 13-0 on the shot clock, them pushing so hard and you guys not having a response?
It's hockey. It happens. Teams have pushes. Teams respond. Found our way to get ourselves to the third period in a tie game. So our response wasn't non-existent. It was there.
Our response wasn't non-existent. It was right there. Sorry, dude. Your response was non-existent for 14 straight minutes. There was no pushback there. What the hell is this? It's hockey. It happens. It's the playoffs. That doesn't happen. You want to give a canned answer like that in November? Sure. A Tuesday night in November, teams have pushes. It happens. But for one of your leadership core guys to come out there and you get asked a question, hey, man, basically the question was, how'd you let the Dallas Stars own you for 15 minutes in that hockey game? It's hockey. It happens. This is not in the playoffs. That can't happen in the playoffs.
Conference finals.
Look what happened. You had a 2-0 lead and you pissed it away again, and you gave up 3 goals in less than 4 minutes. You're a -12 in the playoffs with 2 assists. You're almost single-handedly costing your team a chance at the Stanley Cup. It's hockey. It happens. What the hell are you talking about? Like, come on. Like, jeez. Where's the sense of urgency? You're down 2-1 against a team that appears to be better than you, and they just completely, like the Stars didn't play great in the first period. They didn't play great in the third period. They played amazing for 14 minutes, and your team couldn't do anything about it. And you come on after and go, it's hockey. What are you supposed to do? Our response eventually came. Come on, man. That's a bad, bad look. Especially when you're being paid over $9 million to be an elite player on this team. You're -12. You've been on the ice for 18 even strength goals against so far in the playoffs. And you have 2 assists. You've literally done nothing for 3 rounds, for a month. And you're sitting there throwing it out like that. I mean,
you got an A on his shirt too.
It's
like your sheriff's badge.
At least be like, yeah, it's unacceptable. We can't go through stretches like that. Right? That had to have been the message to the team last night. This can't happen. This 14-minute stretch, this 15-minute stretch may have just cost you the series. It's hockey. That happens. And if there's anybody defending Darnell Nurse in these playoffs in this city, I don't know how you're doing it. I don't know how you're doing it.
Find us the individual. When you broke your second television out of frustration this playoff season, that's just hockey. Maybe we take that quote.
We can definitely run with that.
Repurpose it and repackage it into a text of the day. Hey, blank, that's just hockey.
It's just, how do you just shrug off a series-changing 15 minutes of nothing?
Rick in the Donut at the scene, killed the fan vibe. I was at the game and the energy balloon bursted after that Stars' third goal.
Of course it did. Like, and the response is Adam Henrique tipping one in late in the period. All of a sudden, you're back. Come on. Like,
text unsigned. Dusty, what do you want from him there? To cry? Why does what he says to the media matter?
It's not the comment to the media. It's the overall mindset. If that's the mindset that he has, they're screwed. What are you talking about? What do you want him to say there? I want him to say, when somebody asks, hey, what's the deal with Dallas getting 13 straight shots on goal? I want him to say, yeah, that's unacceptable. We need to be better in that spot. Instead of, that's hockey. It happens. Come on, man. It's not tough to figure out other things he could have said in that situation. It's just, hey, man, why'd you do your job horribly on the show today for 20 minutes? It's a YouTube show. It happens. What are you talking about? That's unacceptable. Be better at your job.
Yeah. Gino Reda wants his line back, right?
Yeah.
Gino Reda owns That's Hockey, not you. Yeah.
I could almost swallow it if he wasn't blowing it for them. Darnell Nurse is -12. The other 2 defensemen who have played with him so far in the playoffs are -8 and -7. It's not a stretch from me to say whoever's been on the Darnell Nurse pairing with Darnell Nurse are costing the Oilers a chance to go to the Stanley Cup final. That's it. Go look at it. Go look at the numbers. Whoever is with Darnell Nurse and Darnell Nurse, they're getting caved. But it doesn't matter. It's hockey. It just happens. So when it's been happening for a month, there's an issue there.
Inferior Woods. That's showbiz, baby.
Yeah.
Anything in life, you can just,
it's bad. It's bad. All right, let's hear from Connor McDavid, the captain of the Edmonton Oilers.
Kind of reminiscent of the second period from last game.
Yeah, but probably a little worse. I thought, a real good start, obviously, and then, I'm not sure where those 10, 15 minutes come from, but it's as bad as it's been throughout the playoffs. Obviously give them a chance to get back in the game, and, when we come back tied after 2, and just don't find a way.
When it's like 2 or 3 minutes, is there any way to stem that tide so it doesn't extend into that long, what you said, 10, 12 minute kind of stretch?
Well, obviously that's what we're trying to do. The playoffs are throughout games are about momentum swings, and when you don't have it, you got to wrestle it back. And we obviously didn't do that for the better part of that second period.
How much is that them pushing versus you guys maybe stopping certain things that were working for you before?
I thought it was both. I thought they went up a couple levels, and we went down a few levels, and obviously you see the difference.
What comes out of your game, Connor, at that time?
Well, I thought it was work. They like to play a long game, like a kind of a stretch game, and when they stretch it out, it's tough for us to be connected. When you see us kind of, outnumbered, kind of in different situations. They're obviously a great team, and they're well coached, and when they get into that stretch game and they kind of get it going up and down the rink, it makes us look pretty not connected, I thought.
When you're playing the first period like you did, do you have to bear down and make it 3 if we had the chance, make it 4 if we have the chance? There's a couple of good chances you had to stretch that lead in that first period.
Yeah, of course. We're always trying to. We're trying to keep playing. We're not trying to. We don't go up by 2 and say let's just hold this all the way for the next 50 minutes. We're obviously trying to keep playing, and we let one get away there, obviously.
Frustrating because in the third you didn't really give up much. I think they only had 3 shots that way today.
Didn't give up much. We didn't get much either. It was pretty tight checking period. Obviously the margins are real small in this series, and pretty similar to last third period in game 2. Tight checking, they find a way to get one, and we don't.
Connor, you lost a game in Vancouver, game 1, that was kind of similar, but now that we're further along in the playoffs, does this kind of sting a little bit more?
They all sting. They all sting. Losing sucks, obviously, and series are short. And you only get a handful of games, and you never like to get. I'm not going to say we gave it away. They it was 40 minutes, and we were able to wrestle it back, and but just don't find a way again.
In that second period, do you feel it slipping away, or is it almost like you get caught by surprise and it sneaks up on you?
Yeah, that's a good question, I guess. You can definitely feel their urgency, their desperation, their level go up, and we just didn't match it.
There you go. There's Connor McDavid. No, hey, it's hockey. It happens. I thought Connor McDavid had some well-thought-out answers last night. Obviously laid it out. That was the worst they've had in the playoffs during the 15 minutes. That's exactly what everybody else saw, and that's what they were dealing with on the ice. Trev15 is in and says, hey, guys, my first playoff game in this building. I got to say, the energy is nowhere near what it was at the old barn. The crowd needs to be better, and they need to come up with some better chants. You were right, Dusty. Oilers in 7. Let's go. Trev15 is
interesting take this morning
as well. Truck in the Park says, Dusty, you're way too dramatic on a media comment. You have zero idea what they're saying and feeling behind closed doors. Comments are minutes after a game. You should know better. Media comments, Truck in the Park. Hey, man, that's, You know what? Maybe I am. But he's minus 12 in the playoffs and has 2 assists.
He wears an A.
And whoever he plays with, they get caved.
There are certain guys in the room that are supposed to be liaisons to the fan base, and that's the channel you do it through. So for fans post game or this morning or whatever, if you're hearing that from one of the leaders in that room, you got to sell yourself better. That's an opportunity to communicate the room to the fans, and you might say, "Oh, they don't deserve to talk to people, or the fans don't need to. They do things behind closed doors, and it's none of the fans' business." But after last night, you just want a bit of an admittance, and something like that, and danced around it. I don't think it's. He wears an A. He's expected to kind of say things differently than guys lower down.
You have to handle yourself in a different fashion than sitting up there. And even if you don't want to talk to me, if I was a player, I'd never want to talk to the media either.
Absolutely, none of them do.
You don't want to deal with
it's part of the dance. Yeah. It's like waking up and going to practice. You have to do it. And if you do it in a proper fashion, it twists the media more around anyways, right? Like if you go up there and you compose yourself yesterday just for 5 minutes or whatever it is, they don't get their quotes or whatever. But now this is a thing, and now we're talking about this. So if you're wearing a letter, especially if you're part of this leadership core, I know it's not on the ice, but there are lots of things off the ice. Charitable work, community stuff, all of this stuff, it all matters. And after a performance like that, to get in front of the mics and the cameras, you got to know how this is going to be perceived. You may not agree with it, you may not like it, but that's hockey.
Look, you were up 2-0 in a critical game 3 at home, and you blew it. You cannot have it's hockey, it happens vibe. You can't. Especially when, you're playing with Desharnais, it's not looking good, so the coach puts you back with Ceci, and you get caved with him as well. Ugh. That's a bad look. That's a bad look. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. RCN is in and says, guys, in case you were wondering how long it takes to go in and order donair, it's 3 Dallas goals. Went in 2-0, came out 3-2. RCN is really enjoying this. RCN, there's a lot of trolls out there, but RCN's like our troll. So I still very much appreciate RCN.
Yeah.
He's our guy. He supports us. He's our troll. And, somebody needs to hold everybody responsible. And he's become that guy. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999.
I know the body might still be a little warm, but are we looking at lineup changes or additions,
we'll have to
subtractions?
get to that
I know we have
as we
some
work our way
time,
through the
but
show.
it's Broberg, Stetcher, the whole bit now. It's all kind of on the
probably getting a little carried away there, I think, but
maybe
we'll have the conversation. That's for sure. A conch for everybody here in the 6 o'clock hour. I think I saw a text come in from Dusty's mom. Yeah. This is actually a pretty good text from my mom. Could be text of the day. Dusty to Darnell Nurse.
That is a hell of a thing for you to say to me.
That's pretty good. It's hockey. It happens.
That is a hell of a thing for you to say to me. Oh, dude.
Yeah. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Good text, Mom. Good text. All right, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Owen. Of course, tomorrow is a Wednesdays, but Owen in the Nasty Jet says, when your girlfriend ditches you to go to a playoff game with her ex, that's hockey. It happens. Well done, sir.
It's an easy layup for text of the day today. I'd say. Thank you, Darnell, for providing the path,
I'm going to grab that
to a whistle
video.
dog.
We'll have to cut that up. And that's a little bit of fun with that. I think going the rest of the way on the show today could be how you get in the mix for that A&W gift certificate. Look, the likes are low today. I think we're having a good show. I know everybody's down in the dumps after the loss, but don't hang it on us. Don't hang the L on the boys here. Hammer that thumbs up for us over on YouTube if you're watching. Jamie McLennan is coming up just after 7 o'clock today. If you're listening on TuneIn, iHeart, or EdmontonSportsTalk.com, please tell your friends how easy it is to consume our content. We will be calling one of our 4 qualifiers from yesterday around 7:15 today, so be by your phone if you want the good news. We'll be calling somebody, and they will have a shot at $100,000 with a hole-in-one with the contest presented by Golf Town. We'll also give you the keyword to get in again. Cool Bet Hotline of the day. Confessions coming up as well. And the Fan Zone should be straight fire today for fansfirst.ca. We'll go there around 7:45. Right now, let's get to a sports update with Lieutenant Eric. Fun 6 o'clock hour.
Oilers dropped Game 3, 5-3 to the Stars last night as the Stars have come back from 2-0 down. Dallas now lead the Western Conference Finals 2-1. Game 4 tomorrow night back at Rogers Place. Looking ahead to this evening, Game 4 from Sunrise, Florida between the Rangers and Panthers, with New York sporting a 2-1 series lead. Boston Celtics are off to the NBA Finals. They complete the 4-game sweep of the Pacers. 105-102 your final. Mavericks look to join them as they look to sweep aside the Timberwolves tonight from Minnesota. Tip-off 6:30. Toronto Blue Jays homered 3 times to take Game 1 of a 3-game road series with the White Sox 5-1 yesterday afternoon. Series will continue later this evening. Kevin Gausman set to start. First pitch 5:40. Back over to hockey, where the Moose Jaw Warriors fell to 0-2 after a 5-4 loss to the London Knights at the Memorial Cup. Warriors take on an 0-2 Drummondville squad later tonight, while a battle of the undefeated goes tomorrow between London and the host Saginaw Spirit. Sports update brought to you by the Sports Bar and Lounge at Century Casino Fort Road, your home for all of the Oilers playoff action. Don't miss a minute of the Cup run. Catch all of the action at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge.
The Nielsen Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
All right, 7:02 on the Nielsen Show, the morning after the Dallas Stars take Game 3, now lead the series by a score of 2-1. More of your thoughts on it. Hammer the inbox this morning, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Weekly confessions around 7:30. Then we'll dive into the fan zone for Fans First at 7:45 today. And that'll be just good 15 minutes of us hammering through your text messages, your concerns, your chats, however you want to go about it. Cool Bet Hotline of the day coming up. We will call our first winner for a spot in the $100,000 hole-in-one contest. And we'll give you the key word for today's qualifier as well. That's coming up after we chat with Jamie McLennan. We're coming at you from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio this morning. Pick up their new Buffalo crispy chicken wrap today. All right, Jamie McLennan pops by this morning. And as always, brought to you by our friends over at Pro-Am Sports. If you've not checked out Pro-Am Sports just yet, make sure you do. You can pick up the Vinny Skinny Winnie 8x10s and 11x14 autos. You can swing on by and see the boys just north of the Yellowhead on Mark Messier Trail. Or, of course, you can visit their website, www.proamsports.ca. Noodles, it's one of those mornings here in Edmonton, my man. We are buckling up for the rest of the day here. I mean, let's just start with, let's just get your thoughts on what ended up happening last night. Then we'll dive right into the details here.
Well, it's a tale of two games. You start out like gangbusters, and it looks like 97's going to have a five-point night type of thing, and Dallas was going to have an off night. And to me, there was a couple things that, you know, you have to have that killer instinct. So I remember at 2-0, I was working on the panel last night, and I said to them, they needed that power play goal, because if you get to 3-0, the game just looks different. Like it just almost, it could have been a dagger. And especially if everything's flying and the building's rocking, and then you get a power play goal, which your power play has been anemic recently. So you needed kind of everything to fall into place. They don't get the power play goal. They rest on their laurels in between the first and the second, and Dallas wakes up, and they start like gangbusters. So if, for me, you know, you're watching McDavid, you're watching Ekholm, everyone speak after the game, Nurse, and yeah, you know, we could be a little bit better. Like, you're in the third round of the playoffs, and to me, you have to find a way to bear down on plays. And, you know, those goals, yes, Dallas deserves a lot of credit. They pushed, but you gave up 3 goals in 3:33. And a lot of it is self-inflicted, not getting the puck out, not bearing down. You know, at one point, like Robertson's first goal, there's 4 guys there. And, you know, you don't close the lane. It's a one-timer in the back of the net. Second goal, you don't get it out. It's missed assignments. And you know, they find a way, battling in front. All 5 guys are there, but nobody's on their ass.
Yeah.
They don't knock anybody down. It's stick check, stick check, stick check. And that's it. You know what? All of a sudden it's 2-0. I thought there would have been an opportunity to maybe call a timeout at that point. You know, I don't get critical of coaches ever when on timeouts, but, you know, if you still have it at the end of the night and you lose, somewhere along the line you may have been able to use it. So at 2-0, I thought you could have called a timeout and said, wake the hell up here. Let's go.
You could tell they were under fire, right? It's not like it was.
They were.
Yeah, like that's the key. Yeah.
And then, you know what? They don't. So be it. And then Darnell, soft play along the wall, doesn't get it out. Like, there's no urgency. It's casual. And to me, they were way too loose in their own zone. So that's what makes it 3-2 and 3:33. And you know what? Good on Connor Brown. I thought Connor Brown has looked really good lately. He makes a great play to Henrique. So they tie it at the end of the second and say, you know what? We got out of that period. We win one period on home ice, and we can take a 2-1 lead in this series. And to me, I thought that third period was methodical. But you can't, again, broken stick play, soft coverage, CC kind of pinching up on that play a little bit, or was it Darnell? And Nurse plays the back door, but you can't allow that goal. I watched Stuart Skinner's media last night. I thought he owned it. Said, listen, you can't give up 4 goals in the playoffs, regardless of how it happened. I need to be better on that 4th goal. Give Jason Robertson credit. It was a sneaky play. It was a smart play. It was the right play. But that's an opportunity missed. And there were too many, again, plays last night were too soft, not enough urgency, where, I feel this Oilers team puts themselves in a spot where they have to scratch and claw. That's when they wake up and get going. The problem is now, Ottinger might stand on his head tomorrow night.
Right, he might just take one. Yeah, good point.
So I thought coming into this series, guys, that McDavid was going to win them a game and their power play was going to win them a game. And Stuart Skinner had to win them a game in this series to give themselves a chance. So I don't know. Have we seen any of that? I thought Skinner was really good in game 1. Even in game 2, I thought I didn't have a problem with this game. But, Skinner's got to be better than the guy at the other end, because the guy at the other end's making saves. And so there's lots to unpack here, but I know there's lots of scapegoats. I saw online, I read Edmonton Twitter. It's Nurse, it's CC, it's Skinner. But, I mean, to me, there's more guys that are culpable, but certainly those guys are front and center on the firing lines right now.
Well, Noodles, that's just 2 teams in this series, and both teams welcoming back a player last night in Adam Henrique for the Oilers and Roope Hintz for the Stars. And just touch on Roope Hintz and how he's been able now last night to unlock Jason Robertson. We talked about that second. This seems like, it was a game changer in having him back. Are you chalking this up as a series changer as of right now? Or, just your thoughts on Roope Hintz coming back last night and what he gave the Stars to an already, depth lineup?
Well, yes, he's a dangerous player. He's 7 goals scorer. He had 30 this year. He's, a really dynamic, fast skater, big and strong, distributes the puck, creates space for Robertson. There's no secret. Hintz comes back, all of a sudden that unlocks Robertson to get available for some shots. They've got chemistry. So, coming into this series, I felt Edmonton had to play some perfect hockey because Dallas plays a lot of perfect hockey. Yeah. They've got layers. If Miro Heiskanen played in Canada, there'd be statues built for this guy already. He's that good. He's that good. It's just in Dallas, it's like, yeah, that's another player. Ottinger's, you look at it, there's no weakness to this team. They're not very physical, but they don't give themselves any chance to really get hit. They move the puck, their D are mobile. I thought in game 1, Dallas's D looked slow, and Edmonton was able to get on top of them and lean into them, especially that second pair, Lindell and Tanev. And then it flipped in game 2. I thought Lindell and Tanev were excellent. Tanev's a guy, he's a warrior, he blocks shots. Lindell's a good skater, and he's big and strong. So the Oilers have to use their best asset, and that's speed and physicality and determination and team play. And I don't know how many times I heard, Connor after the game last night say, we weren't connected. Dallas tries to stretch the game out, and they stretched him out.
Yeah.
There was 3 or 4 times where they weren't paying attention, and all of a sudden the guy's behind them, or there's a play. And, that's where I come back to Stuart Skinner. He makes the save on Marchment. He makes the right pad save on Duchesne. Those could have been dagger goals too. But it's, I said this last night. It's not the saves you make, it's the goals you allow that people put under the magnifying glass, and that 4th goal can't go in.
Let's follow up on the goaltending because, like last night, the nasty chat over on YouTube for our post-game show and the text line, a lot of people were just like, well, it's on Skinner, this is on Skinner, this is on Skinner. And I agree with everybody on the 4th goal. But I just can't hang that loss on Stuart Skinner. I thought... he made a couple of great saves in the second while they were already getting pumped. You are right about the timing of the goals, for sure. That one sneaking through is an absolute backbreaker. But last night's loss is on a lot more than just Stuart Skinner, right?
100%. To me, it's a lazy narrative to just go, that's
Yes.
Stuart Skinner's fault.
Yeah.
Yes, he allowed the bad game-winning goal. So as a goaltender, you're either the hero or the GOAT. I'm not saying that he doesn't have a hand in the loss last night, but there was a handful of guys, maybe more, that you could go, that guy was not good tonight. That guy was not good. That was a soft play. That was a lazy play. That was a casual play. Again, we're in the, like, game 6 and 7 against Vancouver set a template for a lot of people going, that was urgency in their game.
Yeah, they
It
gave
was
up
mature,
nothing, right? Like, yes.
mature urgency, where it was like, okay, we may not win 5-1, but we're not giving up a goal. We're blocking shots. If you look at game 2 in Dallas, the block shots were 22-9. Dallas knew how important not going down 2-0 in that series was, and they came to play. Last night I looked at it. Now Dallas is 6-1 on the road in the playoffs. They've gone into Vegas and won. They've gone into Colorado and won, and now they've gone into Edmonton and won. So their formula is, hey, we're going to block shots. We're going to take what you guys give us. And what the Edmonton gave them last night was too much. So their skilled guys took over. And it was, listen, not that guys aren't trying, but I look at particularly 3D that have struggled recently, like Darnell, Nurse, and CC. And I know Knobloch tried to switch up the pairings and stuff, but Dallas isn't an overly physical team. So your big guys have to move the puck efficiently and quickly. They can't be overwhelmed, and they can't wait for contact to make a play like Vancouver did, where you've got to turn and make a play and get your skilled forwards the puck. So I think that would be the one focus if I was the coaching staff today, is I'm showing them clips where, hey, Dallas is fast, but they're not going to run you through the board. So turn up and make a play and get moving, because that's the one thing I've noticed, that the D of Edmonton is getting exposed. The bigger guys who are a little bit maybe casual or slower on making plays are getting exposed.
I want to get to this text because we were having the conversation about Skinner. It comes from SJ, not in the coot, and he says, Skinner, two things can be true. He made some excellent saves, but he let in some very bad goals. I mean, we described the fourth goal as that. What do you think of the other three, Noodles? I mean, the one was a Robertson rocket, and then the rebound in front that he stopped two of, and then they flipped over him, and then the Wyatt Johnston goal. So what do you think of those three?
Okay, so Wyatt Johnston goal, zero chance. Desharnais has a chance to get the puck out, and then he ends up in front just standing in the way, being 6'7" and falling on people. So the Robertson second goal, the rebound, I mean, it's a shot from the point with traffic, so you can't make a clean rebound save, like a rebound or punch it past traffic. You just got to make that save and then battle. I would argue, and that's the one that I said, there's 5 guys standing there and nobody ends up on their ass. You know what? Take a penalty, knock somebody over, get underneath the stick, but fight for that puck. Jason Robertson is probably the skinniest and lightest guy out of all of those guys who were standing in front of the net, and he wins the puck battle. So I'm not laying that on Skinner. And the first goal, if you go back and look at the play, there's 4 Oilers there, and Robertson jumps in the middle for a one-timer from, like, what is that, 18, 20 feet out, high glove. Now, Skinner's a bit deep on the play, but I wouldn't lay that at his speed. I would lay that at defensive zone coverage. RNH, I don't think gets the puck out. They've got an opportunity to do that. So, if you look at it in a vacuum, maybe that first goal, Skinner could take a step out, realize that's a one-timer, but that's a quick play and kind of a casual play again by defensive zone coverage going, we've got numbers there, but nobody's doing anything.
Yeah.
So the only goal I really have a problem with is the fourth goal, and it's a dagger. So yes, Skinner isn't absolved for any of that, but the other 3, there's 2 or 3 guys that would be culpable before it got to Skinner.
You can text us anytime, 780-218-9999. Noodles, I'm sure you see it all the time in Toronto. Same thing here. After a loss, it's, does this guy come in? Does this guy go out? Do you move this guy around? Do you put him together? I mean, first and third periods weren't bad. It was the 15-minute stretch of the second when I don't care who was playing with who. They all sort of just stood around. So what type of adjustments do you make, if any, heading into Game 4?
Well, I'm of the belief and I think Chris Knobloch is too, is if after a rough game, you don't panic. You challenge the guys who didn't play well and say, we need you to play better. Like, I go to Darnell Nurse, and I know people point at his contract. He makes $9.25 million. Listen, he's whatever you think of it, it's not great for the production that he gives you. He's minus 12 in the playoffs, 0 points. I see it all, but he needs to play better. So does Cody Ceci. So does Vinny Desharnais. Those guys need to play better. You can't change 3 guys out. I would say I need more from you guys and be connected and work with your partners. And how about have some forward support where they're not only back, but they're actually doing something to help. So, changing guys out. Would you like to see Ryan McLeod come back in? Yes. And maybe, he gets challenged and has, gets his game back in order. But who do you bring out? Because I think Adam Henrique, when he's healthy, he needs to play. He's a really smart player who's versatile. I'd like to see more from Foegele. Maybe Fogel's the guy that you take out and you put McLeod on the wing and add that speed dynamic into it as well. So, there are guys that you can pluck, but it's not going to be a wholesale change and going, hey, it's Broberg and Stetcher and we're taking, Nurse and Ceci out. I don't see that. What I would say is you're going over video today and saying, guys, I'll go back to where I was 5 minutes ago. Quicker puck movement, smarter plays, and more urgency in the defensive zone. And that's not just from those 3. It's from everybody involved. So I would challenge them and say you got to come back with them. And then if all hell breaks loose, if they go down 3-1 in the series, now you start to adjust. But I would give them an opportunity to have some redemption for some of their blunders last night.
Excellent chat, Noodles. We'll see what we're discussing next week, man. It should be an interesting time here. It's going to be a good day at Edmonton from a content perspective. People are fired up.
I know. I don't know if you guys are phone line people, but you could sit there for 8 hours and just let a guy who's had 38 heroin beer go at it and just, Ron from Sherwood Park is going to go nuts, or Rick from Leduc. Honestly, you can see the passion, and you can make an argument for every game that the Oilers, especially even in that Vancouver series, where it's like, if you just did this, you would have won that game.
Yeah.
And to me, you're sitting there last night at 2-0 going, this can be a 6-1 game if they score a critical goal here, a power play goal, if they keep their foot on the gas. But you got to keep in mind, you're in the third round of the playoffs, and Dallas is a pretty damn good team too. And they, coming in, they were actually favored.
Yeah, no foot off the gas moments here. 100%. I would agree with that.
Exactly.
We'll chat next week, Jamie. Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks for having me, guys.
There you go. That is Jamie McLennan. Brought to you by Pro-Am Sports. Gear up for game day with Pro-Am. They got all the jerseys and everything as well. And they got the Vinny Winnie Skinny 8x10 and 11x18 autograph photos for you as well right now over at proamsports.ca. Excellent discussion with Jamie McLennan. We will get your thoughts on that. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999.
And he's right in that wholesale changes, although everybody's banging on the door for that.
Yeah.
Probably not going to happen from a guy, especially like Chris Knobloch, or anybody kind of be that many changes on a blue line, 3 in, 3 out, or whatever it would be. It's not going to happen.
Guys, there's zero chance that Broberg and Stetcher are both drawing into the lineup. I think, to be honest with you, I think there's zero chance any of them are coming in. But,
yeah,
I mean, there's zero chance that they go to 2 fresh. Like, there's no way. There's no way. It's a ridiculous discussion.
Van Owen here in the Paris Jewelers inbox. The problem with saying Nurse, Ceci, and Desharnais have to play better is that they either don't have the capacity to play better or they don't have the willingness to play better. Yeesh. So that's your rock and hard place here. You're not going to make those changes, but then we just sit here and say they have to play better, and that's hockey.
All right, let's give somebody a chance to have a swing at $100,000. Zach, do we have yesterday's winner on the line?
I did try and give a call, but there was no pickup.
Okay.
On
Well,
the line.
what's the name then? Because they're still getting the name. So who is it?
Yeah, Sobe Kirk.
Sobe Kirk. Do we have a real name for him or
Trevor Kirk?
Okay, Trevor Kirk. Trevor Kirk. Congratulations, man! You have won a swing at $100,000 with the $100,000 hole-in-one contest presented to you by Golftown. Trevor Kirk, the first of 25 to get a swing at this thing. Trevor will be in touch. We'll give you all the details. It'll be happening on July 3rd at the Ranch Golf and Country Club on the 17th hole. A little bit of water in front and left. Trees at the back. You could definitely bank it off those trees, roll it down the hill, bring it back in, and knock it in.
First up, though, hey?
Yeah.
Where would you want to be?
It'll be in order. Trevor, you will have the first swing at this thing.
Where would you want to be positioned? Obviously, first, but you kind of want to maybe watch a few people first. Kind of.
I would not want to be first.
No,
I would not want.
But you don't want to be
first.
also too far down the line. Like there's a bit of a middle ground. It's interesting to see how this shakes out.
Congratulations to Trevor Kirk. He is our first winner of a spot. There'll be 24 people joining him, and they will all have a swing at $100,000, courtesy Golftown, the $100,000 hole-in-one presented by Golftown. Swing big this Father's Day and find dad or yourself the perfect gift at Golftown. Whether dad's a seasoned pro or just starting out, Golftown has everything he needs to hit the greens in style. From clubs and apparel to accessories, tech, and more, they've got it covered. And if you can't decide, and this is what I like, I don't want other people buying my golf stuff for me. I want gift certificates to Golftown. Keep it simple with a Golftown gift card and let Dad choose from his favorite golf brands, the Callaways, the TaylorMades, the Nikes, the Garmins, and more. This Father's Day, give the gift of golf. Visit them in store or at golftown.com for more details. All right, so Trevor, congratulations. You get the first crack at this. Now we qualify somebody else. We'll take 4 more qualifiers today. Here, Hangout, Lock Shop, 2 guys and a goalie. The key word right now, all you have to do is text this in. You'll be randomly chosen. The boys will be in touch, and you'll be one of our 4 qualifiers who may win a spot tomorrow morning on the show. Had to figure this one was coming at some point. Today's key word for the $100,000 hole-in-one contest, Tiger. Text Tiger right now to 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Text Tiger right now to the Paris Jewelers inbox. And best of luck. If you get in right now, you have a 25% chance at having your name drawn tomorrow. The key word for the $100,000 hole-in-one presented by Golftown is Tiger.
Tiger.
Hammer the inbox with Tiger right now. Best of luck to everyone. You know, I completely agree with everything Noodles said on the goaltending. Got to have that 4th one, but you can't blame him on the other 3 goals.
2 things can be right at the same time.
Yeah.
And in a game where, again, Henrique got you, as bad as the second period was, you're still heading into the third and it's a tie game.
Yeah.
So you're kind of sitting there going, okay, well.
Because of a couple huge saves that Skinner did make?
Sure. But then that's all in the past. So now you're playing this third period and it's even. Forget about the opening 10 minutes from the Oilers in the first or the second period. Now you're back to square one again. And again, they said it on the broadcast, and I think it was a couple minutes prior. Ooh, this has got an overtime feel to it.
They did, yeah.
So you're just kind of like, okay, conference finals, Game 3, first game at home here. You know how good the Stars are on the road. They've been pressing through the second. Tight game, but you've given yourself a chance here. It's tied midway through. And that moment, it's that moment. Yes, all the good, and that helps, and you can say Skinner got them to that moment.
He did.
But then that moment.
Yeah, I think you can look at it and go, I hang the game-winning goal on Skinner, but I hang the loss on the team.
Sure, yeah, fair.
Right?
And they didn't win because
I think both of those things can be true.
Yeah, Draisaitl again, cold. I mean, there's lots of other things why the Oilers didn't win.
Let me throw this one out at you. Which Edmonton Oiler was closest to the puck on the 2 Jason Robertson goals, the first and second? It was the captain, Connor McDavid. He was the closest to the puck on both of those. So there's nobody that avoids being a part of what happened last night. They just need to bounce back with a better effort in Game 4. They got to have it. You got to have Game 4. You're not coming back down 3-1 against this Dallas Stars team, no matter how much they turn it on.
But I think the Skinner talk does exist this morning due to the fact that you zoom out and look at his body of work as a whole, and people will continue going back to that. And that's just
I know,
how
but
it is.
in this series, his body of work has been actually really good prior to that goal.
Small sample size, albeit, but that's kind of where it's always that back of the head subconscious thinking that, and Nurse too. Nurse has gone out there and not tried to.
Noodle said exactly what I said, though. It's a lazy take to blame the game on Skinner last night.
No, you can't do that.
You can't.
But in that moment, you hope for more. And
it's also like Jake Ottinger never allows a bad goal. Well, but that's the mindset. He does. He has in this series. But you sit there and it's just every goal that they score, every goal the other score is always like, oh, great goal. Not all of them are great goals. Some of them aren't good goals. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Guys, the goal on Skinner in the third, everyone blew the gosh darn zone with no possession. No, I mean, that's from Han Shorkoff, which, by the way, we love the handle. But he didn't give a ton of room, but he gave just enough room for that puck to sneak in. He also has the defenseman who's just standing there doing nothing right in front of him.
And identify
but he
that
has to hold the post properly. He owned it after the game. So the team needs to look after the puck inside their own blue line. Look after the puck inside your own blue line. Lee texts in today and says, I don't know if I have a girlfriend anymore. Lee, sounds like you got a confession. Fire that confession over to 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. One more time if you want to get in to the mix for the $100,000 hole-in-one. The key word today is Tiger. All right, good reaction over in the Nasty Chat. We got to get to your Cool Bet hotline of the day today. Talked about this a little bit on the Lock Shop yesterday. I will not be on the Lock Shop today. It'll be Huss and one of the Cool Bet boys, and I think Matty Wannock will be with Cass and Gager on two guys and a goalie. I got some meetings that I can't get out of at the noon hour today. Cool Bet hotline of the day today. I do like this one. Florida Panthers in regulation tonight, minus 104. This is that situation. They got to have it.
They had it last game.
They're right there.
Carter Verhaeghe had more scoring chances than the entire blue shirt team. So, yeah.
Give me the Florida Panthers in regulation tonight, minus 104. That'll be your Cool Bet hotline of the day. It was minus 100 yesterday. It's minus 104, so it's moved ever so slightly. The Panthers just to win, minus 169. Don't know if I'd bet that on its own, but if you want to parlay it with maybe the basketball game or something like that, you could definitely go there. But Florida Panthers, minus 104 will be your hotline of the day. And ride with us over at CoolBet. If you're not yet signed up for an account at CoolBet, please do. Use the code LOCKSHOP when you sign up, all one word, and you'll get a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to 200 smackaroos.
Buster TN, which I assume stands for Tennessee. The biggest issue with Skinner is he's just good and not great. And with what he has for D in front of him, he needs to be elite to win against all other elite teams. And that's just it. If you had the two things are symbiotic here, and that's what you've been trying to say.
The Colorado Avalanche won a Stanley Cup with Darcy Kemper rolling a .902 save percentage.
But the blue line
don't have to be great.
But the blue line, again, that's the whole...
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're going to roll out... Like, Nurse, Desharnais, and Ceci are killing them right now.
Right.
They're killing them.
But if Skinner was in front or behind the Avalanche blue line, you could maybe make an argument that, okay, maybe that is good enough in that situation and circumstance.
What say you? 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. We are going to get to confessions from Spectrum Rental and then inside the fan zone for fansfirst.ca at 7:45 today. We will get into all of your comments on this bad boy. If you're watching over on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up for us. Changing 200, but that is off the pace. I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted by having to say changing 200 at 7:30. That should be changing 300. So if you're watching today over on YouTube, we know many, many, many of you are. Hammer the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel as well as we try to push up towards 8,600 subs. Let's get to a sports update with Lieutenant Eric. And I might find that Creed bed kicking around, a little Tombstone
Why not?
Tuesday remix to get things going here.
Juices flowing.
Heading into confessions. What do you need to confess? I know after last night's game, a bunch of you are sitting on some confessions. Let's go. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Sports update. Park Mazda right now with LT.
Dallas Stars coming back from 2-0 down, knocking off the Oilers 5-3 last night. Dallas now lead the Western Conference Finals 2-1. Game 4 tomorrow night back at Rogers Place. Game 4 tonight down in Sunrise as the Rangers sport a 2-1 series lead over the Florida Panthers. Celtics, they're off to the NBA Finals. They complete the sweep of the Pacers, 105-102. Mavs, they look to join them tonight. They're also on the verge of a sweep. Mavericks and Timberwolves Game 4 from Minnesota tip-off 6:30. Jays homered 3 times, taking Game 1 of a 3-game road series with the White Sox 5-1 yesterday afternoon. That series continues later tonight. Kevin Gausman set to start, first pitch 5:40. Back over to hockey, where the Moose Jaw Warriors fell to 0-2 at the Memorial Cup following a 5-4 loss to the London Knights. Warriors take on 0-2 Drummondville later tonight. Well, a battle of the undefeated goes tomorrow between London and the host Saginaw Spirit. Some CFL news from this morning. Free agent returner Janarian Grant has signed on with the Toronto Argonauts. The 30-year-old spent the past 4 seasons in Winnipeg, winning 2 Grey Cups. The Elks will close out the preseason schedule in Vancouver Friday night against the Lions. Sports Update brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda and dealer principal Mitch Lewicki. Check out parkmazda.ca for any interesting trades, unless you're the Oilers and looking to ship a slightly used Darnell Nurse.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching the button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki in a tuxedo t-shirt because it says, like, he wants to be formal, but he's also here to party too.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
How dude. I'm your huckleberry. How dude. I'm your huckleberry.
You tell him I'm coming, and hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me! No! No!
Skin that smoke wagon and see what happens. That is a hell of a thing for you to say to me. How dude. I'm your huckleberry. How dude. I'm your huckleberry.
All right, what's going on? 7:34 on The Nielsen Show. Thank you very much for being here today. You can text us anytime. Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999. Little Creed Tombstone remix here on a Tombstone Tuesday. Dusty and Lieutenant Eric with you. The Fan Zone coming up here at 7:45.
The Fan Zone.
Gage around 8:30 today. Welcome to the Fan Zone. We'll go there, but we got confessions right now. I know there's got to be some good confessions that have trickled in so far today. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Confessions, as always, brought to you by our great partners over at Spectrum Rental, where they confess to also only working hard for 1/3 of a day. Spectrum Rental. Something equipment, whatever. That's their liner. That's the liner for Spectrum Rental. Look, man, if you need to rent something for a job or an event, Spectrum Rental has you covered. They rent all of it. Spectrum Rental, where they confess to also only working hard for 1/3 of a day. Spectrum Rental, ... something equipment, ... whatever.
That's renting.
That's
renting. That's the end.
Oh, man, that's too good. You guys, that's a great liner. That's an absolutely terrific liner. All right, what do you need to confess today? 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Hit us up over in the nasty chat as well. All right, buddy, what are you confessing today?
I was sitting on my couch for the first period last night. I then moved into a chair for the second period.
Oh, what are you thinking?
You want to blame somebody? You want accountability? I'm not wearing a C, an A, or any other letter, but you can blame me for last night and switching up the chair. I had to, and I also I teased the fact of ordering a donair for the hockey game last night, in which I didn't. So maybe all of these things also contribute to the.
You got to go with your instincts. You gotta go with your instincts.
1,000 cuts here, so I will take last night and assume full responsibility for switching seats midway through the game and not ordering my my donair. Had a take and bake lasagna though from Italian shop that was in the.
I was good. I was at
great,
Italian Center yesterday. I guess my one confession. I texted you this. So we're like, oh, somebody's got to pick up those paninos from Italian Center. I was like, you know what? I'll go get them. So Rick texted me yesterday. He goes, hey, did you have time to go by Italian Center shop, or you want me to swing over there? And I send him a selfie, and I'm like into one of them right then. I'm just like, what do you think? And
it looked like those pictures, you said, you get a picture of somebody just got engaged, and they're on like a trip, and they're all sweaty, and they're on the beach, and it was just after you asked the Panino to marry you. Yeah. And you guys are in this dark room, and you're kind of great photo, but
it was, well, look, I was going there expecting three Paninos, and there was 4. And I only had like a quarter of it. That's all you need.
That's all you need.
I only had a quarter of it. So there's 3 and a quarter paninos rolling in tomorrow from that's good for
the wedding
Center
special.
Shop, so. Yeah, no, that was good. Here's my confession. When we were driving up to Jasper over the weekend, when we drove through Hinton, I thought for a brief moment, I wonder what it'd be like if I moved here. If I moved to Hinton. The smell, like the smell. The smell.
But you don't do that.
I can get used to it.
It's driving through Hinton, not through Edson, though. Nobody ever.
Yeah. Edson, I like you too. But as I was driving through Hinton, I was like, I don't know. I was pulling up to a stoplight, and I just sort of imagined myself living in Hinton, and I was like, what would I want to do if I walked into his office and was like, hey man, I'm out. Best of luck with Edmonton Sports Talk.
Wow.
I'm taking the family. We're gonna move to Hinton and live that relaxed life.
You could do the show remotely from there, and I could be here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we could do that.
Lots of people do that.
Why is Dusty doing the show from Hinton every single? Well,
it made total sense. Yeah,
to
exactly.
relax a little bit.
Yeah.
But I looked. I mean, Hinton's got everything you would need.
Well, can I confess?
So
my wife and I
Jasper.
ask our question that every time we drive past there. Honest to God, me mountain biking.
Oh, you
I mean,
would
to
love
me,
it up there. Personally, I don't do any wilderness stuff. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I would fit well in Hinton. But I'm like, I don't know. It's like it's close to Jasper.
Yeah.
It just seems like a quaint, quiet town.
Got the tree line. Yeah.
It's got like everything you would need from I think there's a Mr. Mike's there. Like there's a bunch of good stuff.
Does it kind of remind you of home?
Maybe a little bit.
Is there
maybe
something
like Cranbrook's in the mountains? Maybe that's what it is. But yeah, my confession is when I drive through Hinton, I'm like, I wonder if I could live here.
Austin Hockey says, I grew up in Edson. I have a soft spot for that town. I just wanted to confirm no Edson bashing. Just kind of. It's funny you're driving through Hinton and you said the same thing because we feel it too. When I drive by there,
I think it might be because
Edson.
you're almost to Jasper.
That's probably
just like, this is real nice.
Yeah.
It's like that Canmore sort of thing. My Canmore is more mountainy, obviously, but still, I mean.
Best thing I love about Edson is that hairstylist place on the main drag.
Was it a good one?
They always have ladies in there. It's like Friday night and they're all getting right in the window, right?
Yeah.
Like
there's that ice cream shop in Edson too. We stopped there one time. But yeah, I don't know about Hinton. Hinton looks like a newer sort of older small town.
Yeah.
Like along the highway.
And you can always say,
like
the mill.
Nice stuff.
Like being in a town with the mill, right? Like
the only thing is
Slapshot all over again.
No, if I moved to Hinton in the mill, I'd like to be like the Rock and Walking Tall. When like some guy moves in, starts dealing drugs, opens a casino, the mill gets shut down, but I'm gonna go in, beat the hell out of the guy who's selling drugs and running the casino, and then reopen the mill. Like that's what I want to do.
Maybe that's our new Shanks. Beefnip says Hinton Sports Talk EST 2025.
Maybe I won't move to Hinton until they shut the mill down, and then I can be the mill hero.
Sure.
That would be
bring
cool.
It back.
To bring back the mill for everybody. That'd be kind of fun. All right, let's get to some of your confessions here today. This text in says, guys, I must confess, as a non-Oilers fan whose team has been eliminated, I enjoy when they lose. Not because I don't like them. I'm indifferent. However, I'm an agent of chaos, and the reaction and content that comes from after a loss makes my insides tingle. Matty Cassian on postgame last night was firing on all cylinders. Yeah, Cass was great last night on postgame. Cass was all over Nurse on the postgame last night.
Well, and again, I think a lot of these things with this team, it's we've been talking about it for so long. That's why you can really, because when Cassian's going off or whomever is going off, I mean, we all feel the same. This isn't just opinion based.
No,
this is a straight off across the line. Every fan, whatever jersey color you wear, you can see this and say, yes, that is it. And I think we can all come together, and it's therapeutic in some form.
Boiler guy Dennis texts in today and says, guys, my confession is I took my Skinner jersey off for the first intermission to clean the kitchen. Forgot to put it back on until after the third goal.
See, we're all in this
says
together.
I feel shame. You should, you idiot. What are you thinking? Boiler guy Dennis, you're killing me. God, that's a tough one. Kyle says as well, like Lieutenant Eric, I also switched viewing locations after the first period. I went from the next act to an undisclosed location.
An undisclosed speakeasy, hey?
My
what do you do? You can't. You go back to next act, like you made your bed. Like you kind of got to find something else.
Whew. That's a tough one. All right, great confessions. Keep those rolling in. 780-218-9999. Dylan is in and says, how well do you handle a 2x4, Dusty? Probably not very good, but I can handle a 2x4. I did grow up on a farm, you guys. Like
a ranch.
A ranch.
You had a sign.
A windbreak ranch.
Exactly.
I grew up on a cattle ranch.
They had it on the side of their trucks.
You don't think I know how to handle a 2x4? You're nuts. And that's exactly what The Rock did, except it wasn't a 2x4. It was a little bit bigger than a 2x4. And he put a handle on it and everything, and that's what he used to get the mill back open. It was...
we don't call you Hacksaw around here for nothing.
Exactly. That is my nickname off the air here at Edmonton Sports Talk. I also want the truck that The Rock had in Walking Tall. I think the Walking Tall...
You just want to be The Rock. This is your confession.
I mean, confess. Finest moment. I mean, yeah, I will.
You want to rescue your family coming out of a helicopter and the world's ending and all that stuff, the whole bit, right? Like it's.
I will confess this. Like I like The Rock. I love The Rock. I love The Rock. I like his movies. I even like the one when he climbed the skyscraper with one leg. I even liked that one. Like I like The Rock. The fact that he doesn't want to buy into the CFL frustrates me a little bit. Sure, but still, I still like The Rock.
Can't have them all.
Here's another confession. I'm probably the only person in the country who's excited that Janarian Grant signed with the Argos.
Oh,
I mean, Janarian Grant is a walking return touchdown.
Yeah,
but I'm still a little bit sad because I won't do a bunch of his games because he's in Toronto now. And
Get him out of the West. Get him out of the West.
God.
Elks, Riders, Stamps, Lions. We all unite this morning. Grant out of the West.
All right, 780-218-9999. I see Pender's Pancakes says Walking Tall is The Rock's best movie. I mean, I wouldn't even disagree with that. I love it. It's one of my videos that I have like on Apple TV, a movie that I've like already purchased and I can watch whenever I want.
San Andreas. It's San Andreas.
I've never seen San Andreas. And here I am saying I'm a big Rock guy.
I was just throwing down all this San Andreas. You know what happens in that? Spoiler alert, the world kind of ends, but he's a paramedic.
That would scare me a little bit.
He's a paramedic. He plays like a paramedic, like a.
But I guess he couldn't save the world.
Well,
was he trying to save a family?
I don't want to spoil too much of it, but yeah, he's jumping out of helicopters, baby. Like
does he have both legs?
Yeah,
oh,
and he wears the paramedic uniform and everything, and
what a performance!
Helmet. He's got the headset mic like you'll have at the Elks dinner. You should actually. San Andreas is one to watch now. A little bit.
I will. I'll watch it on a plane.
You'll love it.
I'll watch it on a plane at some point.
Great special effects. 49% Rotten Tomatoes.
Is that good or bad? I never know. There's another confession. I have no idea how the Rotten Tomatoes things work. Everybody always goes, it's 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know if that's good or bad.
100 is the best. It's just like a test. But I got a confession. I never watched Walking Tall. I never heard of it until now.
Oh my God, Zactica. That doesn't surprise me much. It's not like one that I expect everybody to have watched. But you should watch it. It's fun. You'd want to reopen a mill with me.
Cult classic.
It would be. It'd be pretty good. It'd be pretty good. Guys, I also confess I changed my watch location during the game. Started watching in the hotel gym. Humble brag.
Okay,
in the first. Then switched to the hotel bed in the second. That's in from Big Dave. Dave, if you can't work out for 3 periods, are you even committed to this team?
Here
trying
we
to
are
get the
talking
Stanley
about
Cup
their
final?
effort, right? And you can't even stay in the gym for...
God, that's pretty disappointing. Guys, my wife joined me outside to watch the game before the first goal was scored. I almost asked her to go back inside when the third goal happened. I should have said something and slept on the couch after the win. You're right, you should have, Neil.
Take one for the team, exactly.
Somebody needs to make a statement here.
Yeah, when that significant other, regardless of the sport or team, just kind of waltzes into the room. Hey, what you doing? Oh, looks like your team's doing pretty good there. and then it starts to unravel. And you could have called your shot. Spend the night on the couch. Oilers take Game 3. Would it have been that tough?
No, it would have been fine.
It's the conference finals here.
My wife's a little bit sick right now. I'm sleeping downstairs all the time.
You got her sick to do it.
No, yeah. I like to
twist.
I like to poison my wife just a little bit.
Just a bit.
So
Keep her alive. Yeah.
She's not gonna die,
No.
but she'll be sick enough that she's like, hey, you better sleep downstairs tonight because I got a cough. I'm like, are you sure? I'll lay there right next to you all night while you cough. She's like, no. You sleep downstairs. I'm like, fine, I guess I will.
Just a bit. Not enough though.
And not all the time. I mean, like once every few weeks. It's just like, Yeah.
Let her know you're there.
Yeah, no, that's a good one.
A lot of people changing their watch. I never knew that was a confession to get that confession out of so many people. But
yeah, no, that's a good one. All right, 780-218-9999. That's confessions for Spectrum Rental, where they confess to only working a third of the time as well. Something equipment. Whatever. Great liner from Spectrum Rental. All right, but the text game continues. Let's get into the fan zone.
The fan zone.
The fan zone for fansfirst.ca. Now this is back to the game. This is back to your concerns, your complaints. This is not us giving hot takes right now. This is your comments. 780-218-9999. The Edmonton Oilers are down 2-1. You were panicking when they were down 1-0. When they were down 2-1, they were down 3-2 to the Vancouver Canucks. Still came back and won. Is it different this time around? Why is it different this time around? And what are you concerned about the most? 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. The fan zone is for fans first. By fans, for fans, no fees. Get your tickets for the Oilers Cup run here at www.fansfirst.ca. Had somebody in the nasty chat yesterday said they've used Fans First. Awesome experience. They absolutely loved it. So check it out. By fans, for fans, no fees. If you want to go to Game 4, check out fansfirst.ca and see what you can scoop up, and you save the money on those fees. All right, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999 is where you can slide on in here for the fan zone right now. Also over in the nasty chat as well. Guys, a hockey game requires 60 minutes of play, not 30 minutes. Maybe play a whole game and you will win. I mean, fair enough. I don't know, like how many times have they played 60 minutes in the playoffs so far? Five times maybe?
Oh, and it's something I know we don't like to go back to the regular season, but a trend that's followed this team throughout. Picking times to play, good starts, good finishes.
Let's get to this text. Tanner from Calgary in the fan zone today for fansfirst.ca. My biggest concern is Darnell Nurse by a mile. I'm a big Nurse defender and have been adamant for a long time he needs a partner to complement him. Last night was the worst game I've ever seen Nurse play at the worst time. I think that's putting it lightly. I'm not sure what the Oilers are going to do with him if this is the effort level you're going to get out of him. He's a leader on this team, but he's getting absolutely caved in every facet of the game. Do you guys think McDavid or Draisaitl or maybe even the Whisperer or Sam Gagner needs to have a long heart-to-heart with him after last night's game? That's from Tanner in Calgary. Very concerned. And he said he's a Nurse defender.
He got me at that.
That's a Nurse guy.
Yeah.
And he's just like, wow, what's going on? Let's see here. Donkey's in it. Says, no matter how good of sniper you are, you need time to pick a hole the size of the puck. Skinner needs to hold that post, but Robertson was given too much time and respect with the puck. Well, who is the defenseman that was there? Darnell Nurse. And he's sort of just like, I'm just going to handle this. And he's not thinking he's going to tuck it in short side, but a little bit of pressure might have changed things. On that play. 780-218-9999. Yak is in and he admits this is a complete overreaction, Dusty, but with the cap going up, can you buy out Nurse? LOL. Thanks, Ty. Yak, listen, man, not going to happen. But once again, all of these off-season roster construction things, let's save them for the off-season.
Yeah.
They're in the heat of the moment here in the third round of the finals, or in the third round of the conference finals. They're only down 2-1.
But you're in the fan zone, and Braden follows it up with, guys, what's more likely this summer, a Nurse trade or a buyout?
In the fan zone.
In the fan
but not
zone.
right now. Not right now. Not right now. Guys, last night is exactly why you cannot overpay for Vinny Desharnais, even if he walks. That's in from Stan, the Jets fan today as well. Yeah, I mean, I think this series against Dallas has been a reality check of what Vincent Desharnais is capable of when being pressured a lot. He's being pressured a hell of a lot more in this series than the one against the Vancouver Canucks. I mean, look at the third goal. I mean, he didn't need to make the play that he made. So, yeah.
This text unsigned, couple bad bounces last night. Period.
I hate the bad bounce text.
Well,
get out of the fan zone.
You know where you are. But I think the Desharnais numbers kind of go down a bit from what we were seeing online and elsewhere.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was always like, what are you doing? You're not giving Desharnais $2.5 million to be your third pairing right shot guy? What the hell? Pat is in and says, the Oilers are playing like a stoner in high school because they keep skipping second period. All right, that's a classic weed joke. He's thinking it's a Jeff
Oh,
Spicoli
marijuana.
text day.
Oh, boy.
Is that not what it is? That's in from Pat today.
The ganja.
I think that's what it's called. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. The ganja. Is it ganja? I mean, I've always said ganja.
West
but
Coast, East Coast.
I don't know anything about it. I know that sometimes you can eat it now, which is kind of cool. Morning, boys. The thing that I'm most concerned about is that this is going exactly like the series against Las Vegas last year. Getting a lead and losing the lead in a real hurry and not being able to stop the momentum. Last year during the playoffs, we did not blame Skinner, but as we reflected on it all summer, we decided Skinner must have been tired. Last night wasn't Skinner's fault. It's an inability to stop the pushback that the other team is going to have in the playoffs. They told us they were past that. They told us they had learned. Spoiler alert, they have not learned. That's what concerns me the most. Love, John. John, thank you very much today for hitting us up here in the fan zone for Fans First. Guys, the biggest concern for me is that the power play is completely dried up. They can't beat the Stars 5-on-5.
Well, that continues. And I think we were talking with earlier on, too. Had that power play chance. You really could. 2-0, most dangerous lead in hockey. Could have went that 3-up. Really kind of tighten that grip.
Morning, boys. Despite how bad last night went for the Oilers, I somehow still have full confidence that they will find a way to win tomorrow and make this a best-of-3 series. I fear I may have drank too much Oilers Kool-Aid.
That's where the confidence is coming from, that Kool-Aid.
Yeah, that must be where it is. 780-218-9999. Braden says, is it Broberg time? Listen, if it's Broberg time... Like you're going to a guy who hasn't played an NHL game in how long, thinking that all of a sudden is going to solve the season.
I think it's just people thinking somebody else time.
Yeah, but if
that's a dangerous game to play.
It is, but when Nurse is minus 12 in the playoffs and has been on the ice for 18, like he's not coming out anyway. But I'm just saying out these numbers.
Yeah,
Nurse, Desharnais, and Ceci. Go look at the numbers, and you can dive into all the analytics and all that stuff if you want to. Don't need those right now. Darnell Nurse is minus 12. Ceci and Desharnais are minus 8 and minus 7. So whoever is playing on the pair with Darnell Nurse, again, caved. That's what's killing this team right now in the playoffs. Nurse and whoever. They're sinking them right now. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Hey, guys, I don't buy the must play for a full 60 minutes line. Dallas played 2 periods in 1. Vinny can't keep up with Dallas' speed. Stetcher moves the puck better. Switch him up for a game and see what happens. Paul in Calgary. A lot of people saying Stetcher not an option, apparently not even practicing with the main group. Okay, but you know what, though? Like, Dallas was phenomenal for 15 minutes, but I didn't think they were atrocious for the other. Like, Dallas didn't have what the Oilers had for 15 minutes. That's not playing. Dallas might have been down 2-0 after 1 and only had the 3 shots on goal, but if you go back and watch the first period, which I did last night, so I watched it twice last night, the first period wasn't insanely lopsided. The Oilers buried some chances. So a different 15 minutes.
And that's why I spoke of the Stars' depth. It doesn't just relate to scoring. Again, the 4 lines that they're running can all play, and it's just in waves. And that's why, again, you take your moments. You can show up for 5 minutes a game. If you happen to take all your moments in that 5 minutes and then play great hockey defensively throughout, who's to say? But it's just when the Oilers, I responded to the text, when the Oilers aren't on, they're usually off. There's none of that, keeping teams at bay. If they're not going, they're off. It's one or the other.
Guys, games are super close. Vinny's shot goes in, and maybe we take the game. It's going to be a good series. Well, they're in the same spot they were against the Canucks. That's in from Positive Oilers fan. My God, I love that you signed it with Positive Oilers fan. But that's needed this morning.
Rick Brown will counter in the nasty chat. If Dallas doesn't ring a couple shots off the post in Game 1 OT, Edmonton is down 3-0. The Stars are in Vancouver. So all of these things, what ifs and what ifs.
That's how close the series is.
Right, but it's in the moments, and last night too, we identified a moment, and it's in those small moments. You can play 59 minutes of great hockey, and if it falls in a moment, it falls in a moment.
The problem is that the moments where Skinner should have stopped the one in the third, and they allowed 3 goals in less than 4 minutes.
That's their moments,
right? Like those are the moments.
That's the
those
moments.
Those are the moments in last night's hockey game. This one is in on the fan zone here for fansfirst.ca. For fans, by fans, no fees. over at fansfirst.ca. If you're looking for tickets to Game 4, you can hop online and find them without the fees that you'll find at other places. The fourth goal is on Skinner, but before that, he made 2 great saves on Marchman and Duchesne.
Yeah.
McDavid was a -1. Draisaitl was a -2. Darnell, Leon, and Connor McDavid have to be better for the full 60 minutes. That's in from Collingwood, Rob, this morning.
Well, and you mentioned Draisaitl as well, and a bit of absenteeism from him so far, thus through this series, right? The past 2 games, no points. That's another thing. And I said, the big dogs, you got home ice now, you'd maybe see a little feast. And I can't remember, someone in the Nasty Chat or the Paris Jewelers inbox, you thought at 2-0 up. Those big dogs in this Oilers team would kind of take the game over, at least try to assert their dominance in it, but not showing up. I think Draisaitl's absence, too, is another thing you can add onto the pile this morning.
Nurse is the type of defenseman that is the reason a defenseman like Tanev won't come to Edmonton. That's in from Dr. Harry today.
Interesting thought.
Dr. Harry, I'm not entirely sure what you're trying to get at there. First time he's ever texted in, though. And I wonder if he's a real doctor or that's just his handle. Because you can be anybody in your handle. And I don't got time to get on the doctor thing today. But I'm just curious.
What kind of doctor, though?
Well, that's the thing.
Inquiring minds.
Let me guess. You design things.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, remember when we had 3 things to target at the deadline? A top-line winger, a right-handed D who can make Nurse serviceable, and a third-line center? We acquired one of what we needed. Oh, it says we acquired the one that we needed the least.
Well, I just think it's, and I know when they acquired Troy Stetcher, this isn't like, oh boy, adding another Norris candidate to it. But why go out if he's not even skating at this point in time? And that was you obviously went out and made a move there to acquire something in a little bit of depth. And it's not even skating right now. That's a bizarre acquisition.
271 likes right now over on YouTube. Pretty sad. Let's hammer that thumbs up today. All right, let's farm some likes here. Let's push this bad boy up. The bare minimum on a show now is 400. So let's hammer the thumbs up over there. If you've not yet subbed to the channel, please do that as well. This text, we're knee deep in the fan zone here. Let's hammer some likes over on YouTube, man. I don't know the exact stat line, but it seemed on at least 2 of Robertson's goals, Connor comes trailing in seconds too late. He has to be better in his own end. Signed, still thinking of a handle. So that guy's still working on what his handle could be over on the Paris Jewelers inbox. But yeah, I pointed that out earlier. Like we're sitting here and it's on Nurse, it's on this, it's on this, it's on this. But who was the Edmonton Oiler that was closest to the puck on both of Robertson's first 2 goals? And it was Connor McDavid, just a tad late that allowed the one-timer. And then the mad scramble. I thought Noodles made a really good point about the mad scramble in front on the second goal. Skinner makes the first save in traffic. As he says, that one you can't really direct anywhere because there's so much traffic in front of you.
Yep.
Drops down in front of him, makes the next save. Then the puck squirts out, and Robertson puts it up over his shoulder. But as Noodles said, all 5 Edmonton Oilers are right there, and they're all going like this. When you see Robertson coming in, put him on his ass. I know Knobloch talks a lot about checking with your feet in your stick, but in front of your own net, guys can't be allowed to stand up and get second and third cracks at things. Just can't happen.
Unsigned texter looking for a Rafi Torres when you need a crushing hit to send a statement. Find someone like him.
Whew. Man, the fan zone. Fired up today. I love it.
Lick Furry as well. Playoff stat of the day. Only one team has won Game 3 on home ice this year. Colorado beat Winnipeg. So
that is kind of crazy, isn't it? Yeah. I saw that earlier. I didn't get to it, but I saw that.
Put that in your pocket, hey?
Yeah. All right, the Fan Zone was brought to you by Fans First. By fans, for fans, no fees. Get your tickets for the Oilers Cup run here at www.fansfirst.ca. Stu Baca is in and says, guys, tell the guy with no handle to just go by no handle. You know what? And that comes from a guy who's got a pretty good handle in Stu Baca. Like that's pretty good. Stu Baca. I think I've got the half Chewy locked on this board here somewhere. Marshall was in here playing around the other day, and he thought, yeah, here we are. Oh. Hey, thanks for texting in, Stu Baca. Oh. All right. If you want to play kind of easy trivia today, we need you. We've got a gift certificate, a little pick-me-up. A little pick-me-up for you this morning, right? I know many of you are so down in the dumps today.
Get to
like
Mr.
the
Mike's.
series is over. Series ain't over yet. We said the same thing after that Canucks Game 5 when people, like everybody, I don't know how anybody's left to trade in this Dallas series. Everybody traded everybody after Game 5 in Vancouver. So let's see where it goes from here. They're going to be in trouble if they don't win Game 4, no doubt about it. But if they win Game 4, we can say once again, series on. It'd be a lot of fun. If you want to play for a gift certificate to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual, saw Norman a combine. Was at Mr. Mike's yesterday with his gift certificate that he won.
Sitting up at the wood, was he? A little lunch breaker?
I think it was a dinner.
Oh, okay.
I think it was like a post-birthday dinner for his wife, which is a real nice way to do a dinner. 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. All right? Text us right now. Text Zach to come and let him know that you would like to play Kind of Easy Trivia this morning. 780-218-9999. And somebody will try to get their hands on that gift certificate to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual. Good luck, everybody, getting in on that. We will have 3 questions too many coming up. We've got a new segment called That Hurts. We're going to get to that around 8:20 today. Joaquin Gage, 8:30 this morning as well, plus a chance to get on that VIP table draw for the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival, still to come in hour number 3 today as well. One more time, if you want to play Kind of Easy Trivia, let Zach know, 780-218-9999. More of your text messages on the fallout from Game 3, a loss to the Dallas Stars at home here in Edmonton. Right now, a sports update with Lieutenant Eric for Claiborne Services. If you're looking for work, they are looking for you. What a perfect fit. Go to www.claiborneservices.com. Rick's got more on that here after the update.
Oilers fall 5-3 to the Stars in Game 3 down at Rogers Place last night. Dallas now lead the Western Conference Finals 2-1. Game 4 tomorrow night back at Ice District. Game 4 tonight between the Panthers and Rangers down in Sunrise, with New York sporting a 2-1 series lead. Boston Celtics are off to the NBA Finals. They sweep the Pacers 105-102. Mavericks look to join them tonight. They're 3-0 up on the Timberwolves. Tip-off 6:30 from Minnesota. Jays hitting 3 homers as they take Game 1 of a 3-game road series with the White Sox 5-1 yesterday afternoon. Series continues tonight. Kevin Gausman starts, first pitch 5:40. Back over to hockey, where the Moose Jaw Warriors fell to 0-2 after a 5-4 loss to the London Knights at the Memorial Cup. Warriors will take on 0-2 Drummondville later this evening. That sets up a battle of the undefeated. That goes tomorrow night between London and the host Saginaw Spirit. Some CFL news from this morning as free agent returner Janarian Grant has signed on with the Toronto Argonauts. The 30-year-old spent the past 4 seasons with the Bombers, winning 2 Grey Cups. The Elks, meanwhile, will close out the preseason schedule in Vancouver Friday night against the Lions. Take your career to the next level with Claiborne Services. They are hiring all positions, including journeyman bricklayers and apprentices of all levels. Take advantage of their outstanding mentorship program and work with peace of mind knowing that they are an industry leader in safety. Visit www.claiborneservices.com or make it easy and give Jeff a call, 780-910-6728.
What say you? Hey, nasty crew. We got the Nielsen flu, and there's nothing we can do about it. What say you? Hey, nasty crew. My wife thinks I got better things to do, but there's nothing I can do about it. We're tuning in on TuneIn, we're listening online. We catch up with the podcast, don't fall behind. We're texting in the nasty chat, what's on our mind. 780-218-9999. No more interference from corporate interest. Just Dustin and Eric and all of the bad guys like Brzezinski and Noodles. Captain can gauge it. Maybe just but a cool bet to make a little wager. We can't wait for the Monday mandate. Sharky's always on time. Tommy's always late. Would you like a cup of tea? Forget about the old place. Hey, we were number 1 in the text race. We don't miss all the commercial breaks, but we sure miss Nickelback today. We wanna hear some Hintz and we wanna hear Renee. Wanna hold the neck up when I wanna kiss away. Beat left the tire fire and remember that name. We love every goal song, but what about the games? Macramel, Rapaport, Dragger, Engineer. It ain't Christmas season, but they sound like reindeer. Button and my cousin and the tales of the North. All about him giving present, Dusty go forth. What say you? AM Nasty crew. We got the Nielsen flu, and there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it.
Oh, 8:05 on a Tuesday morning with the Nielsen Show. Thank you very much for being here today. You can text us anytime at 780-218-9999, 99 is where you can get in. 3 questions too many coming up. That hurts. New segment that we're fired up about. That should be a lot of fun. And I think we'll lay it out for you today, and then a lot of people will hop on board with this thing. We're looking for things that just, not technically like injuries, but things that hurt.
Fitting day to kick this one off.
Yeah, I mean, Darnell Nurse being minus 12 in the playoffs with 2 assists. That hurts. We might have to come back around to that. But Hernandez, everybody's celebrating that he's out. Like, that's got to hurt you. Anyway, we'll come back around to it. That hurts coming up at 8:20 today. Gage will be by around 8:30 this morning. I know he's only going to want to talk Monaco, but we're obviously going to talk about the Edmonton Oilers. Gage will be with us on 2 Guys and a Goalie today, presented to you by GS Construction. Huge shout out to GS Construction for hopping on board. It's a presenting sponsor of 2 Guys and a Goalie. We've got kind of easy trivia right now, brought to you by the fine folks over at Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual. Casualest place ever in the Hampton Inn. On the corner of 137th Ave and the Mark Messier Trail. Now with 6 o'clocker lager in the house. I mean, if you're running an establishment and you don't have 6 o'clocker lager, what's up with that? It's the #1 selling Alberta craft beer at all Sobeys and Safeway liquor locations.
Can play up and down your lineup.
People are loving it.
Great price point.
You want to do it. Mr. Mike's knows what's up. Mr. Mike's gets it. All right, Zach, who's playing kind of easy trivia today, buddy?
Jared's playing today.
Jared. All right, let's go to Jared. He's going to play kind of easy trivia today. Needs to get 3 of the 5 questions correct. If he does, he's got the gift certificate to Mr. Mike's. Jared, you ready to go, bud?
You bet. Let's do it.
All right, I'll start the ticker after I read the first question. Good luck. Here we go. This one stings a bit, but I got to ask it. Did the Edmonton Oilers win last night?
Negative.
Which player had a hat trick for the Stars?
Robertson.
Is the series over?
Absolutely not.
What is the name of the NBA team in Boston?
Don't know.
Name one player on the Celtics.
Oh, that I can't tell you.
Yeah, don't worry. You got it, man. You needed 3. You got 3. Well done, sir.
No! Oh, my God. Damn it, Shake, stop it!
They are going to remember that AM radio is a viable and modern source for news and entertainment. Totally. People don't listen to AM like they used to. Seems like it's more about FM and color TV. That's stupid. It sure is, Kevin.
I'm stoked. You stoked?
I'm stoked.
Just so stoked.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
Cannot come to my house. No, not today.
All right, Club Beat Loop on a Tuesday. I mean, I know we're a hockey town, but are you a little surprised?
You're hearing what Zach?
No,
Zach's
Zach
on the call.
what's the update
He
here?
heard a W
He heard a W
in front of NBA.
He thought you said WNBA.
It miffed him.
What is the name of the NBA team? He'll hear me say W?
Which, I mean...
Well, I don't think I would do that.
No, but that's what he...
I think that might be a cop-out there.
Oh, yeah.
That might be a cop-out there. Why would I ask you, what is the name of the WNBA team in Boston? Like, that would make no sense. The Boston Celtics won last night. Now, with that being said, any sort of excuse is better than actually not knowing about the Boston Celtics. That's strange to me. That's a little weird. A little off on that one, but...
I like him kind of digging his way out of this one. No,
Yeah,
I heard a W. I heard a W.
Yeah. What's worse, coming up with that as an excuse or actually not knowing, you know? That's interesting.
Association City.
All right, Zach did send me that Darnell Nurse audio. I want to get to that. This is Darnell Nurse. We got to play it again so we can find the clip that we want to use for text of the day today.
A little reset.
So let's this is a little reset. Here's Darnell Nurse after the game last night.
There when play shifted to them.
Yeah, they just upped their urgency a little harder in the net front, and we're jumping into plays and making it count when they got opportunities. So they had a push there at the beginning of the second period, and our response just took a little too long. And they were able to get the lead.
How do you explain that at this time of year, Darnell, the 13 on the shot clock, them pushing so hard and you guys not having a response?
It's hockey. It happens.
That's the clip right there. That's what we came for right there.
It's hockey. It happens.
It's hockey. It happens. That was Darnell Nurse answering the question about how his team got outshot. What was it, 13 shots in a row or whatever it was last night?
Yeah.
Didn't get a shot for 14 minutes at the beginning of the second period.
Somebody texted in, you get pulled over, Yeah, sir, you were doing double the limit. It's driving. It happens.
It's hockey. It happens.
All right. So you can go a couple of ways with this. if you come up with something good on the hockey part of it, you can definitely slide in and give us one of these. Blah, 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 blah.
It's hockey. Happens.
Or if you just want to skip over the hockey part, you got something good there too.
Happens.
Happens.
It happens. I mean, it's only game 3 of a conference final in a year in which the future of your team may hang in the balance. But it happens. It happens. What are you supposed to do?
We were just missing an "is what it is."
If
Darnell could have dropped it is what it is. Ooh, baby.
That would have been really good. All right, so let's go. Hammer the inbox, 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999.
Happens.
It happens, right? What are you supposed to say about a Game 3 loss outside of it's hockey? And it happens.
You dropping a W in front of an NBA question?
Happens.
It happens.
It just happens.
I don't even know I did it, but it happens. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Guys, but Nurse made a save with his ass. As I said earlier in the show.
We can't talk about that now.
Why was he on his knees facing his own net in the crease?
It could have been a moment. You could have been going to Pro-Am and getting signed frames, the ass save and all that, but no. It's all for naught. That would have been amazing. It's all for naught.
Yeah.
I think what Heat Daddy had that, it was a tweet. Let me just bear with me here, but you can't, things happen during a game, but if you're not on the right, you can't remember them now. It's not memories. Yeah. I mean, the ass game would have been something. Yeah, here it is, Heat Daddy 12 hours ago. If you're the Oilers, you can't effing lose this game after Darnell Nurse went full Hollywood, threw his ass in a circle and some Alexis Texas type SHIT to save a goal. McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman family, don't let this happen, win the effing game. But it's all for naught now.
Jason is in it, says the defenseman on his knees.
It's hockey. Happens.
It's just that's a part of the game right
there. Real good one. Kevin Magnuson takes out yet another driver during a Grand Prix.
Happens.
It's racing.
Is that from Gager?
Unsigned. Please put a handle. Be somebody.
I like this one. Beer leaguers to their goaltender when they don't play defense and allow 80 shots.
It's hockey. Happens.
Jeez.
Sorry, man.
We've come around now, haven't we?
Really thought we had him when we were down 9-6. Could have really locked it down for us there. That's a good. Guys, when you pay a third pair defender $9 million a year,
it's hockey. Happens.
He's better. Look, he's better than a third pair. So, mind you, he's not backing up a lot lately, but what do you say?
The money is
he's not playing well in the playoffs. 780-218-9999. This is how you're going to get in the Mixer text of the day today. So hammer the Parachuter's inbox at 780-218-9999. One of your text messages will be crowned the A&W text of the day. And when it gets to A&W, then you pick it up and you go and you spend it all on delicious, delicious whistle dogs. Every time I barbecue and they ask for a medium rare and get well done.
Happens.
That's a pretty good one as well. Jacob Trouba, when he gets called out about another questionable hit.
It's hockey. Happens.
This is easy. We're laying it up for you here for the A&W this morning.
Keep them rolling in. I like this one. Why have you been hungover at work every other day for a month?
It's hockey. Happens.
That's playoffs right there. That's in from Punker Junker Jones this morning. All right, keep those rolling in. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. I mean, this is so juicy. We could do the rest of the show on this. We won't because it's jam-packed, but we could do the rest of the show on this. So keep those flying in this morning, and we'll get to those. Ooh, that one I'm not even going to get to.
PD from Grand Prairie?
Yeah, PD from Grand Prairie. That's pretty.
Wait.
PD from Grand Prairie. We got to have a line somewhere. I don't think I'm going to read that one, but
kids are waking up.
I'll say this, PD. Good text.
Yeah.
All right, 3 questions. Let's get into this. 3 questions too many. Lieutenant Eric, do you have a liner for the segment today?
3 questions too many, brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda, including dealer principal Mitch Lewicki, who's thinking of hanging up a motto written in handwriting, black italic, on their sales wall. Car dealerships, it happens. Park Mazda, your dealer for life. Much like the one we have outside the wall here, right? Be true to yourself, or whatever the motto is there. Be the best you can be.
Be the best. Yeah.
Be the best you can be.
The boys were on me yesterday saying that's all uneven.
What do you mean? I thought we leveled that.
Maddie and Tommy are like the pitcher police in here. So we hung this thing. right? The 1,000 like show, the Big Maple sent us, the canvas.
Yeah.
We hung that. You, me, and Zach Dickham, right? We were working on that.
Yeah.
So Tommy comes in the other day after the hangout. They come out, they look at it, they go, wow, it's off. It's not hung up properly. It's not level. I said, that's level. We're looking at it. I said, that's level. So these two guys, Zach Dickham, you were here. You got my back on this. These two nerds, Tommy has like an app on his phone that says if things are level. So he puts it on top of the picture frame. It says it's level, like dead on. 0%, like it was perfectly level. And I'm sitting at them going, I'm like, punch me in the face, boys. Like,
punch me.
We put this up and it is perfectly level. And then Awanik, Matty Awanik, he thinks Tommy's app is wrong.
Oh, of course.
So Awanik gets his
yeah.
own leveling app, comes over, puts it on top and looks at it. It comes up like right in the dead center. And he goes, well, this is level. It's perfectly level. I said, we told you we did
and
it,
that
right?
was it?
Well, no. So then they determined that the roof is crooked.
Yes, now we're going.
So then they determined the roof is crooked.
Sure.
And that's why my hanging of the picture, which looks perfectly level and is perfectly level, doesn't look level to them because the roof is a little bit slanted.
It's a classic Iwanic tale. I'm a little shocked and saddened that Gazola's found himself wrapped up in this as well. Bad influence. I tend to think, though, this is Idle Hands, Devil's Workshop. A couple guys with too much looking around, looking at levels. I mean,
I guess we got to find more work. Find more work for these guys. Zach, was that not a ridiculous day? That was a ridiculous day.
It was ridiculous. Yeah, because they didn't trust it. And I swear Matty was like, oh, well, it is just an app. It is just an app. And then he tried it and he was like,
how he creates his own app, though, just to kind of prove you wrong.
That was the best part is that Tommy's like, well, it's like, Tommy's like, it still doesn't look level. I said, your app is saying it's level. And Matty's like, wow, it's still just an app. Then like 1 minute later, he's there with a different app and he goes, yep, it's level.
Yeah. It's the children that are wrong.
This is why we need to stream The Office 24/7 for moments like that. Because I was losing my mind. Like, come on. All right, what were we doing?
Yeah, well, how do we get on the topic of the two of those?
How do we get on the topic of this?
Those jokers.
Whatever. Do you have a Twitter account?
Yeah, it's at Lieutenant_. I know, because Park Mazda, Mitch is going to hang up the sign. Yeah, at Lieutenant_. I've retweeted exclusive inside look at Angel Hernandez's signature on his retirement papers. And if you wanted to check that out there on the...
Oh, is this you?
It's a pretty good one.
I like the jokes.
I also put out a poll this morning. Better town, Edson or Hinton?
Whoa. We don't need that heat.
Well, it's...
What is this? Small Town Tuesday 2.0?
It's going the way you would think, but...
It's going Hinton?
Yeah, 77%. That's what it should be.
Doesn't Edson have like a huge
Edson's
ball tournament that
they
people
got some
like?
Stuff, but it's the power of Hinton. But that Hernandez signature, hey? I mean, with him retiring and all the bad stuff, he did provide us with some great moments that we wouldn't have had. Kyle Schwarber,
Exclusive instant look at Hernandez's signature on his retirement. It's off?
It's off the page. It's outside of the zone.
It's out of the zone. That's hilarious, actually. How's that not getting more love?
Right?
That's a really... I'm going to retweet your tweet of the tweet. I'm retweeting a retweet. All right, let's get into this question number one. If you are watching over on YouTube today, let's hammer the thumbs up for the boys here. I'm trying to talk you off the ledge this morning after a loss. We're at 333 likes. We got to be changing 400 here by 9 o'clock.
Leather Daddy maybe gets it over the line.
Hammer the thumbs up. Maybe Gager gets it done again. All right, question number one. This name has not come up yet, and I appreciate that. But it's sitting here in 3 questions today. Thank you for sending your questions to the Paris Jewelers inbox. Boys, I have to ask, is it time to go back to Pickard?
No. No.
I know what Pickard did for you in that series against the Canucks, but they're not down in this series because of Stuart Skinner. So no, I think a different message had to be delivered in the Vancouver series than would have to be delivered now. So
and we also said that change too wasn't necessarily down to goaltending specifically as a bit of a team general message sending. It did give Skinner a little bit of time off to maybe see the game differently or whatever. But it's funny, I do come in here. I think you're a little less off Skinner than I am this morning. Again, I'm not laying the game at his feet.
No, but you're
But I do look at that moment.
Enough.
I'm like, ha. And I guess the temptation would be there for some of you, but it still isn't that great for me, which I find it weird saying that after taking the stance I've taken this morning. But you just hope that he can, because again, he did show up in moments in the second period to get them to where they were. Albeit the deciding moment, he's man again, but it could have been a lot worse. So yeah, for that purpose, I don't think Pickard's going to necessarily play better.
If it's not for, and I know he should have had the fourth one. I'm not saying that, But what I'm saying is that if it's not for Skinner, they're probably down 5-3 after the second period. So,
and is Pickard picking up for the defensive laps as well that are happening in front of Skinner? I don't know if that's going to be, because again, as you say, there's or in forwards not being able to clear the zone or do things.
I think if you're watching the first 3 games of this series and saying the only thing to do here is to change the goaltender, then you're not watching the series properly, because that just can't be your take on it.
I mean, you're subbing out a defenseman or two before that, even though we sit here this morning and confidently say that's probably not going to be an option either. Maybe most fans want, but whether or not Knoblauch will do it is a different question. But more so, you could see a blue liner coming in or out for instead of the goalie change. If you have to do one,
I don't think they do anything.
You don't think they do anything, but if you had to do one,
I don't know if I do anything. I think you're throwing Broberg into a series against the Dallas Stars. I just don't think that's a recipe for success. I mean, I think you're putting that kid in a tough spot.
I think people are so reactive, though, to want some sort of a change,
I know.
Whatever it is. But you're left here with what are the options, and are they going to be better?
Would have been nice to have mixed in Stetcher earlier in the playoffs.
Mixed in.
So he had a game or two under his belt.
But if he's not even skating right now, and I keep hearing the same refrain.
Or not skating with the main group.
But how much worse could it be?
Yeah.
That's what the whole thing is now, with putting Pickard in or radically changing things on the blue line. How much worse could it be? I think it could be worse. It sucks hearing that after a loss like you suffered last night.
That's a tough one. Let's get to question number 2. Oh, boy. Guys, I'm putting 29 and 97 together for game 4. Tell me why not. I don't think you can do it, man. It's a straight up full-blown panic move. And on top of that, it hasn't worked.
But thank you for texting in, Chris.
Yeah. Like, when did they get going against the Canucks? What happened? They went away from McDavid and Draisaitl together.
But as I mentioned,
So no.
in terms of a goaltending switch or a change on the blue line, it's change. You're subconsciously geared towards, okay, didn't work, now you got to change something.
No. Even last night, when in the third period, they're like, oh, McDavid and Draisaitl and Hyman, they've loaded up the line. They didn't do anything. Leave them where they are right now.
And game 2 was where he was thrown out, the bottom, putting them in situations, hey, work this all up. So you're not going to throw all that out now and
not putting them together.
Go back nuclear.
I just can't see that. Don't see it. Question number 3. Hey, guys, speaking of hanging things on the wall, how many things you guys have hung on your wall in the office?
We have a birthday invitation.
For
the fall.
Yeah, for the fall. Birthday
don't want to
invitation.
forget it. We have a hoop.
We have a basketball hoop that's on the wall.
Couple of pictures. We have the Birdie Booze sign, right? And that, another thing Maddie was very irate at. You hung that there. Well, that's where the video game goes. I know. Well, we've been here for 9
months.
If the video game is going to come in, it's going to come in.
One of our dreams is to get like the stand-up arcade video game console with like 4,000 games so we can play Tecmo again.
Yeah, but it's like...
But it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have one of those and you want to work out a deal, we'll give you some plugs for it. We'll put it in that. Maddie's like, you hung it in, the joke's on him. I didn't hang it anywhere. I 3M'd it up. And you take it off of 3M in a second.
If the video game gets in here. But
anyway, we have the Birdie Booze thing up. We have the 1,000-like show canvas up. We have the wording that was in the office when we came in. We moved it over here.
We have
and the
nice,
basketball hoop. That's it.
The HQ sign.
Outside, if you come by the office. That's it. We got room for some more. We definitely got room for some more.
The outstanding wrap, of course, from William Huff.
Yeah, it looks good.
Graces half the building. So,
you kidding me? Looks real nice. I don't know what we hang. You know what I do want to get hanged? I got to take it in. We got a couple of like the newspaper articles that Marjan wrote about us when we launched. Yeah. I have those. I want to take them into Pro-Am and get them framed, and we'll hang those bad boys as well.
Quite a few copies.
I got a couple. No, I only got two.
Can you photocopy one for me?
That wouldn't be very good. We'll have to go back order. Can you still back order Edmonton Suns?
Go to the library.
Somebody let me know on that one. All right, let's get into this new segment that we've got here. It's called That Hurts. Brought to you by SBLLP. Albertans suffer personal injuries and accidents every single day, but many of you're too overwhelmed. You're like, what do? I don't think I can get anything for this. It's not that bad. Maybe it is that bad. That's why you go seek legal advice. Just leave it in the hands of those who can look after you. The experts at SBLLP. Personal injury lawyers at SBLLP have the experience to gather evidence and advance your claim to ensure that you get fair compensation. And the best part is you don't need to be intimidated by the process. They got you. Go to www.sb-llp.com and click on personal injury or call 780-438-5281. No need to feel shame. Let SBLLP handle the claim. All right, let's get into That Hurts. And I mean, there's two ways to go here. We could go back to the Darnell Nurse discussion. Darnell Nurse being on the ice for 18 even strength goals against, being minus 12 in the playoffs and having 2 assists at what you're paying him to be much, 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 much better than that. As an Oilers organization, as the team that is trying to win the Stanley Cup on the ice right now, that hurts. That hurts big time. I was fired up in the 6 o'clock hour. I kind of said it, but I also mean it. Like the Nurse pairing, whether it's Nurse and Ceci or Nurse and Desharnais, are possibly costing the Edmonton Oilers a chance to win the Stanley Cup. That's how poorly they played. And that hurts. That hurts. However, the other thing that hurts is, it doesn't hurt everybody else, but Hernandez retiring as an umpire as opposed to maybe being forced out like he should have been years and years and years ago.
The party's going to be insane.
It has to hurt. And maybe he doesn't care, but it has to hurt when your career comes to a close and 100% of people are celebrating online and they've had memes waiting for you forever. As bad as you are at your job, and you have been at your job, and let's be honest, he was awful at his job. That still hurts, right?
I do find it funny, though, in terms of umpires, officials, referees, whatever. Not a lot retire or leave the game with a lot of, positive fanfare. So maybe for Angel Hernandez, this is like his last, villainous. This is who he is. This is who he's become. He is now fully engaged in villain Angel Hernandez, and maybe he wants this. But yeah, it's a tough look that your legacy is going to be remembered by memes and videos of you causing grown men to freak out over just terrible calls. I'm going to go that hurts to your original that hurts and Darnell Nurse. I think it hurts as well for this city and fans of the Oilers to see Stuart Skinner like this, because I think everybody wants him to succeed so much. Local guy, the mustache, he wears those big brimmed hats. Tombstone Tuesday, we love it. It all fits. It all clicks and it all tracks with him. Everything outside of the play, which hurts because the numbers thus far in the postseason are not good enough. No. But I'm just going to say, and I'm not laying last night on him, but I think it hurts for a fan base that you can't get off of this divider where you see this local guy wanting to give it all, and you really want to win with him because why wouldn't you want it? It's a hell of a story. But then there's the realism that comes crashing down every second game where it's like maybe he is just a 1B.
Who's been better than him on the Oilers in this series?
I'm not going to say.
Honestly.
And I know that they don't have any Campbell, Pickard. I'm not saying anything like that. But I think it just hurts from an Oilers fan standpoint when you have a local guy like this who some nights is, again, he's shown up.
Yeah.
But I think the body of work as a whole in the postseason gives an Oilers fan, local Oilers fans especially, given the relationship with Skinner and the localness of it all, I think it hurts that much more to look at those numbers and say, maybe this is just the reality.
I just think since he got the net back in Game 6, he's been good enough to win them a Stanley Cup.
Good enough, but not with that blue line in front of him. And that's what hurts, because he could be. He could be if he had the blue line. But he doesn't, and therefore he's not.
I think it's weird that we're hanging.
No, not hanging.
But you're kind of hanging it on.
Not at all.
You mentioned like 1,000 times today.
I think from an Oilers fan point, you could see Skinner, and if he had a better blue line in front of him, he's the guy. But he doesn't, so he's there, and it's a team game.
Yeah.
So his play, yes, probably looks a lot better if you have a better blue line. He doesn't, and you could argue that his play, again, certain circumstances, but maybe that factors into the playoff numbers. And I think from a local standpoint and a fan standpoint, you want him to succeed so much, and it'd be a hell of a story. And he's not losing it all on his own, but the blue line and the support in front of him just isn't there. And that must be frustrating, and that hurts.
The conversation hurts for fans who want to see him have success.
You know what I mean there,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. No, I understand where you're coming from. I honestly, who has been, which Oiler has been better than Stuart Skinner in this series so far?
Oh, no.
I don't know if I have an answer to that. It's not McDavid. It's not Nuge.
Not Draisaitl.
Draisaitl doesn't have a point in the last 2 games. Maybe it's Bouchard. But I don't know who else it would be.
That gets canceled out from Nurse play. That total saw off there. So,
all right, what do you got? Hit us up. And we'll get Gager's thoughts on Stuart Skinner's game last night. Noodles said he obviously did not like the 4th goal, but he didn't have an issue with any of the other 3 because the team in front of him was absolute horse you-know-what last night for that 15-minute stretch. That hurts Brought to you by SBLLP. If you're dealing with personal injuries, let them deal with it for you. Go to www.sb-llp.com. Many of you get injured, you get hurt in an accident, or wherever. You don't even know what you're able to get. So let them handle that for you. This is what they do. This is what their life is about. www.sb-llp.com. Click on personal injury or call 780-438-5281. No need to feel shame. Let SBLLP handle the claim. And a huge shout out to the folks over there. They're a bunch of nasties. Listen to the show, and they want to be a part of it. So thank you very much for reaching out and hopping on board with us. Looking forward to the future. All right, Gager is on the way. Let's get to a sports update right now for Big Mama's and Papa's Pizzeria. If you're looking to have the biggest damn pizza in the city, look no further than Big Mama's and Papa's Pizzeria, second location on the way. Rick's got more on that. Sports update, Joaquin Gage on the other side. It'll be a great chat with Gager here just after 8:35.
Oilers dropped Game 3 5-3 to the Stars last night. Dallas now lead the West Finals 2-1. Game 4 tomorrow night back at Rogers Place. Game 4 tonight from sunrise between the Panthers and Rangers. New York sporting a 2-1 lead. Celtics are off to the NBA Finals. They sweep aside the Pacers 105-102. Mavs look to join them tonight. They're 3-0 up on the Timberwolves. Game 4 from Minnesota. Tip-off 6:30. Jays continue their series with the White Sox tonight from Chicago. Kevin Gausman starts, first pitch 5:40. Jays taking the opener yesterday afternoon 5-1. Moose Jaw Warriors dropped to 0-2 at the Memorial Cup following a 5-4 loss to the London Knights last night. Warriors will take on 0-2 Drummondville later this evening. That sets up a battle of undefeated teams tomorrow between London and the host Saginaw Spirit. CFL news from this morning. Free agent returner Janarian Grant has signed on with the Toronto Argonauts. The 30-year-old won a pair of Grey Cups during his 4 seasons in Winnipeg. The Elks will close out the preseason in Vancouver Friday night against the Lions. Sports update brought to you by Big Mama's and Papa's Pizzeria. BMPP is a real pizzeria restaurant, not just a delivery pizza chain. Serving authentic Italian cuisine with their made-in-house pizza dough, traditional tomato sauce, and fresh toppings. Each pizza is cooked to perfection. A pizza experience you've been waiting for. Visit them 12848 97th Street or order online www.bmpp.ca or give them a call 587-746-0550.
The Nielsen Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
$8:33 on the Nielsen Show. Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric with you. You can text us anytime, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999 if you would like to chime in today. That'll get you into the Paris Jewelers inbox. Take a run at Text of the Day for A and a W. We'll give you a chance to get in on that Great Outdoors Comedy Festival coming up here as well. We're probably around 8:45 today. Joaquin Gage pops by for Pro-Am Sports. Check them out at proamsports.ca. You can gear up for game day over there, and you can also get your hands on the dual-signed Vinny Skinny Winnie 8x10 or 11x14 photos. Visit them today in Edmonton at the corner of 128th Ave, St. Albert Trail, or online at proamsports.ca. Gager, happy Tuesday. How are you, sir?
I'm good, boys. Happy Tuesday, everybody.
Yeah, same to you.
So, Gager, how do you work your way through last night's game, my man?
It was a puzzling game to me, Dusty. Like I was being there live for a game is different than watching it on TV, and that first period was unbelievable. Like they had the Stars on their heels the whole period. I'm like, wow. And then running into someone you might know. His last name's Jason. I think he went.
I've heard of him.
We had a brief discussion in between periods about, well, is it the Oilers playing really good, or are the Dallas Stars not playing well at all? Like I didn't know which side of the fence I fell on, and then obviously the second period was just a complete catastrophe. And you know what? Looking back, like you always have 20/20 vision, like your hindsight's always 20/20, and I think it was a missed opportunity with a timeout, because there was one shift where I believe it was Nurse and Darnell got stuck out there for like 2 minutes, and that was the real motivator for the Dallas Stars at that point. And they just didn't recover, and they scored 2 right after that. I think it was kind of a missed opportunity by the Edmonton coaching staff not to call a timeout after the tying goal, just to cool the Stars a little bit. I think that should have been done.
Gage, what would be the case to not do that? Like, it's not like it was an evenly played period and Dallas kind of got on you. You were being absolutely destroyed by them up until that point. To me, it would have seemed to be a no-brainer to mix one in there somewhere. I'm just trying to figure out, is it like in a game 3 of a Western Conference final, do you just say, well, we'll let the guys play through this? It seems strange to me.
Well, that's why I say it should have been the time for a timeout, because usually in games, especially this time of the year, there are ebbs and flows, and there are pushbacks from teams. But the length of time that the Dallas Stars were dominating, that's why I say that should have been a timeout, because it wasn't just after that shift; it just kept building and building and building. If the Oilers had a chance maybe in there, I could see it. I understand the thinking of coaches possibly maybe save it for, maybe I have to keep this in my back pocket. Maybe I want my team to work this out and get out of it themselves, right? Maybe there's something to that. But no, I think if you at the end of the year, you look back, this was one of those moments where I think even Chuck Knoblaw would have called a timeout in that scenario.
I think. Sorry, I know you're gonna get Skinner. People are talking about, and Knobloch said the TV timeout thing. I just think that hits differently, doesn't it? Like to me, I don't know. As a group Gager, like as a group of players, the TV timeout, yeah, we're getting that anyway.
Things though.
It's like the actual timeout. You're like, okay, sense of urgency. I don't know. I would think that hits differently.
A TV timeout, there's a lot of stuff going on too. Yeah. There's people cleaning the ice. Yeah. There's something going on in the stands. Like there's a lot of commotion. When you call a time, that's a point where everyone comes together. They treated it just like a normal TV timeout. There was, usually you see a guy maybe hasn't been playing, goes for a bit of a skate. It wasn't
they brought them all together. Yeah, good point.
Yeah, this is when you get everyone together and everyone's listening, and maybe the coach. A lot of times, coach doesn't even have to say anything, Dusty. Like he can just be quiet, and then oh my gosh, like guys, that's when you lean on the leadership group a little bit in those cases to have maybe a quick word and go, guys, we gotta do something here and simplify the game to get it back. Because I loved the Oilers' third goal. I thought it was fantastic. I thought that was going to be a real turning point just because of the forecheck of Fogle. Where I was situated in the rink, you could see Brown see that play develop, and an unbelievable tip by Henrique there. And I thought that was kind of lead them into the next period. But it was a missed opportunity.
Well, and Gage, I agree with you, because that after that second, and you're coming out of heading into the third all even. I mean, that's given what happened in the first, yeah, whatever, but you're here going into the final frame. Things are knotted up, so you're okay. You're feeling good. And I know they mentioned on the broadcast, overtime feel midway through. And I'll get the goaltending with you. I know Darnell Nurse will take the most, and we'll get to that. But just wanted your thoughts on Skinner and Ottinger as well, with a cool and calm, I think, 9:33 for Dallas. But your thoughts on Skinner. And of course, Dusty mentioned, there were moments in that second where it could have been a lot worse. However, Henrique gives you the gift. You're coming into the third all even. And then that hat-trick Robertson goal, man. Just from a goalie's point of view, your thoughts on both Skinner and Ottinger from last night?
Well, let's start with Ottinger. The first period, there was a definite shift, I think, in the thinking of how the Oilers had to play to get the puck past him. There was definitely discussions on getting to the front of the net. And I thought, oh, okay, that switch has finally flipped. We need to get to this point on the ice to score these goals. Because, if he sees it, he's probably going to stop it at this point, right? Like scrambles, second chance opportunities. I like that. Not an overly busy night for Ottinger after that first period that he had to, got a few past him. I thought that there was going to, again, that shift of making life a little bit more difficult for him. But nothing really after that. Not a lot of pressure to the front, I thought, compared to that first period. Yeah. If you just want to go through the goals,
let's do it. Like, I don't know. Did you watch Noodles this morning when we had Noodles on? he's obviously he hates the fourth one, but he didn't mind the other three. But Gager, where do you come out on him? Like,
I mean, the first goal, there's only 2 goalies on the planet that could probably stop that, and that's me and Noodles, right? So, no, that was no one's stopping that shot. That was ridiculous. And the Stars, the big boys came to play, and the big two of Robertson and Roope were dynamic. Robertson is one of those guys where he's slippery. He's a true goal scorer, right? Like, he just finds those silly little areas where how is no one covering this guy?
Yeah.
Right. And I liked Skinner's game, his battle, his compete. Like, the only reason they were tied going into the third period was his play. I hated the fourth goal, but I tried to watch it again when I got home. It looked like he shot it off the side of the net and it rolled up and hit his pants and like real.
Just
a
as
lot
he
of
called
things
it,
have to happen. Yeah. Like, it was. I mean, no, it's a terrible goal. You have to.
Yeah, I thought initially he bounced it off like his leg, but it kind of hit the back of his skate and sort of rolled in, right? Like,
yeah, it was a. I mean, you probably couldn't do that, out of 10 times, maybe once. It was, but I liked Stuart's game except for that goal. But he was the only reason that they had a chance going into that third period to win that game. There's going to be mistakes, but they're magnified obviously as being a goalie. But I didn't have a huge issue with Stuart Skinner's game. I guess I'm in Noodles camp with that one.
The nasty chat thought otherwise last night. It was quite the scene over there.
Raw emotion, right?
Yeah. The people were obviously fired up. We were talking a lot about Darnell Nurse today. He's been on the ice for 18 even strength goals against so far in the playoffs. He's minus 12. The two guys who have played with him, Cody Ceci and Desharnais, are I think minus 8 and minus 7. Gager, whatever that pair is, however they put it together, and I know they had some moments in the Canucks series for sure when Desharnais and Nurse were together, but that defensive pair, whoever it is killing the Edmonton Oilers right now. What are you supposed to do there if you're Nabla?
We have to have a talk with Darnell Nurse. I mean, I don't know, that shift I was talking about where he was out there for so long, after that, he had nothing left. Like, it's almost like he couldn't. He looked exhausted out there. There was no jump, no anticipation. Like, he was sitting back and almost not wanting to make a mistake. He looked very, a very immature D-man. Like, he looked like a rookie at times, scared of the situation, not taking advantage, not being physical. It was not good enough. Like, we've talked on two guys for leading up to the playoffs, saying, and I was under the, like I said, Darnell Nurse has to be considered one of the best D-men in the postseason. Like, if you were to line them all up, if they're going to win the Stanley Cup. But then what I kind of changed a little bit was the emergence of Bouchard becoming, that the guy that might be, if the Oilers go on, would be mentioned in Conn Smythe voting with the type of playoffs he has. But Darnell Nurse has to follow a little bit. Like, he can't not be a factor in games. You look at the Dallas Stars, D-man, there's no way that Darnell shouldn't be the same as Lindell or he has to play that exact same way. Just, you have to do something special to get a chance. And he's just, I hate saying it. I hate like singling guys out, but enough's enough, Darnell. If you want to, you're part of this leadership core, lead by example and outplay your counterparts on the other team. This is not good enough by any means.
Joaquin Gage with us on the show this morning. Gager, what about adjustments for the next one? What do you think? What do you think they do? Like, you bring McLeod back in. People are asking for like Broberg and stuff. I don't think that's going to happen at Game 4 of a Western Conference Final when you're down 2-1. But what do you think, Gager?
I loved Henrique. He was great. Struddy and I talked about just how great he was. Even I think Struddy might have said they got to find a way to sign him for next year already.
It'd be nice to have him around, I think. Yeah,
it would be really good. I don't know. I don't like what's McLeod coming in. Perry. I'm just trying to think who you would take out. Does Carrick make sense? But I like his physicality because there's not really that much in the series, and I think the Oilers are capable of doing way more in that area. But it might be time for a little bit more sandpaper. A guy that's been there before, a guy that knows this team, has played with a lot of these players. It might be time for Corey Perry. I know it's a speed thing and things, but maybe a little bit more experience of these situations can help the Oilers at this point.
All right, let's talk Monaco. I mean, the big story here actually is the fact that
Hoss. It's Hoss, isn't it? Man.
To me, the big story coming out of this is like, wait a second here. Is Red Bull not just going to run away with this? I mean, Gage, are you starting to believe in Ferrari and McLaren or what?
I think the gap's closed, definitely, with these teams. Like, everyone's close, because when you look at qualifying, everyone's almost within 100th of a second, right? Like, it's actually quite ridiculous. And if there's any race throughout the year that qualifying means more than any other, it's Monaco, because I mean the top 6 that finish in qualifying, usually that's how it finishes, right? So, and you saw Max kind of, I think there was, I don't know about the car, but Max had a broken motivator in that race.
Yeah,
like
he did.
he just settled in, and even him and George were talking in the paddock afterwards, saying something's got to be done with this race because you can't pass. If you try, you end up like K-Mag and Nico and Checo and wreck everything, right? So no, something has to. I don't know. Maybe it's just qualifying. There's 3 bits of qualifying to see who wins and most accumulated times at the end. That's the winner of the race, because the race itself, let's face it, it sucks. Qualifying, great though.
Gager, as always, buddy, appreciate it, man. We'll talk to you later on Two Guys.
All right, boys.
There you go. That's a Joaquin Gage. Two Guys and a Goalie coming up later on today. Presented to you every Tuesday and Thursday at noon right here on Edmonton Sports Talk by GS Construction. Those guys are hiring right now as well. Go to gsconstruction.ca if you are ready to work. You can join their team today. Jockstrap over on the Nasty Chat says, and it's spelled Jocks like a Jacques Vaughn. Remember Jacques Vaughn back in the day? Anyway, it says Monaco needs to go. I did see a bunch of comments on Twitter yesterday. I kind of dove into a little bit on Monaco. And Gage and I will discuss this on the Pit Stop Pals. Maybe we can fit one in tonight, actually. Like, you could change it where you have to have at least 2 pit stops and you have to use all 3 types of tires.
Yeah.
Then it sort of changed the strategy a little bit.
I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater here. The pomp and pageantry.
No, you got to have
what
Monaco,
I tune into. Like, it's funny. I just replied to text. I'm not watching the race, but it's one of the races. It's the race that you watch for not the race. It's everything else going on. The celebrities, the yachts, and everything else. So you got to do something there. I got time for any and all wacky and weird ideas, but yeah, let that thing breathe a bit.
All right, let's do this. It's the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival. If you need a laugh this morning, you probably need a laugh this morning. I'm laughing today at the fact that we have 368 likes. So sad. The whole city's just so sad today. Hammer the thumbs up over on YouTube, all right? Let's change 400 here by 9 o'clock. Hammer the thumbs up on YouTube if you're watching over there. And if you've not yet subbed to the channel, please do, as we continue to creep up towards 8,600 subs over on the Edmonton Sports Talk YouTube channel. If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or EdmontonSportsTalk.com, all we ask is that you tell your friends. Maybe even send them the link of iHeart or whatever so they too can listen to the show. Great Outdoors Comedy Festival is coming to Edmonton July 12th to the 14th at Kinsman Park, featuring Shane Gillis and Andrew Schultz on Friday. That show is completely sold out. Kevin Hart on Saturday, then Burt Kreischer and Whitney Cummings on Sunday. 4 tickets to the Saturday and Sunday shows. Check out www.greatoutdoorscomedyfestival.com and watch for our partners who are going to be there from Alley Cat, the exclusive beer sponsor of the event, featuring the 6 o'clocker lager as one of the beers that will be available. We've got a VIP table to the Saturday night show. We already gave away the Friday night, which is Gillis and Schultz. We've got a VIP table to the Saturday night show. Kevin Hart will be headlining on Saturday night at the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival. I did this yesterday in one of the shows. I asked a little trivia question. For this.
Okay.
Hey,
yeah.
No, let's do this. Text in the name of one Kevin Hart movie.
Is it a WNBA type of question?
No, just text in any Kevin Hart movie.
Oh.
What would be, what's the first Kevin Hart movie that comes to mind? Probably with my man, The Rock. Right? He's in a few with The Rock, aren't they, buddies? YouTube Trevor's in the house. Hey, there's the sheriff's badge. I was wondering where it was on a Tuesday. Look at this guy.
I think you left a little something here too, Zach.
What did
Yeah.
What's that thing? What's that device? Hey, you were the sheriff last night on that postgame show, buddy. That was real nice. Anyway, YouTube Chef's here. Anyway, text in the name of any Kevin Hart movie right now to 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Do Jumanji with The Rock. All right, that's Get Hard with Will Ferrell. That's a good one too. All right, so text in any name of a Kevin Hart movie. Zacticum will look at that. Zacticum, you got that up pretty quick. Nice work, my man. Text in a Kevin Hart movie to 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999, and one of you will go into the draw for this VIP table Saturday night show. You're sitting in the sun. You're watching Kevin Hart on the stage at the Kinsman Park.
You're a little thirsty.
Having a 6 o'clock or lager with the people at your table. And you provided these guests with the VIP table, right? Because it's a VIP table for 4.
Yeah, you should be carried in there like a king.
You're sitting there.
Or a queen.
You can't ask for a better situation. Can't ask for a better situation. Central Intelligence.
Yeah, that's coming in hard.
That was with The Rock as well.
Sure.
He does some fine work with
here.
The Rock.
Yeah.
I got to go back and watch
What is
Walking
this,
Tall.
Ekholm Bouchard pairing here.
I guess Kevin Hart would never be in Walking Tall. Am I right? What is this? The Brady roast? Definitely not. All right, let's get into the wrap for William Huff. If you want your place to look as good as ours, let's go see Bruce and the team. If you want your place to look as good as every single thing that you see at Commonwealth, go see Bruce and the team. If you want your place to look like Rogers' place, go see Bruce. Wraps the city. Edmonton looks good because of William Huff. They've been doing it since 1972. They've probably developed a great list of contacts. www.williamhuff.com. Rick, what'd you learn on the show today, buddy?
Well, and it kind of goes into the That Hurts segment as well, which we debuted in the third hour here. But Janarian Grant to the East Division in the CFL. That's got to hurt for those special teams coordinators as he's signed on with the Argonauts this morning. Out of the West into the East goes to Janarian Grant. 2 Grey Cups during his 4 seasons in Winnipeg for the 30-year-old Janarian Grant.
Well, the Argos lost the Special Teams Player of the Year.
Yes, so they're
Where did he end up?
Filling those shoes back in. So
in Edmonton with the Elks, Javon Leake. It's a cycle. It's cyclical.
But we were kind of, free agency came in. We're like, Grant, still.
I was wondering where Marshall was rattled.
And a good offensive weapon, too, in certain spots that you could. So.
Yeah, they never used him much in the offense.
But I'd love
you
to
could get him in some sweeps and
game
stuff.
breaker, man. I love those.
The
CFL, man, that's where.
I told Marshall last week, I said, just so you know, that Janarian Grant's not back. He was very disappointed.
Oh, well.
Yeah, he has no time for not having Janarian Grant in Winnipeg.
Size up Marshall with a double blue jersey now. Hey,
I don't think he's got the return. No. As an Argos fan.
Oh, maybe he follows Grant to.
Wouldn't that be something? I learned we launched That Hurts today, and I think that is going to be a fun segment. I think there's a lot of things like that could happen to you as you're walking to and from work, right?
Personal sports or otherwise.
That hurts.
Yeah.
There's lots of things. Like last night, as the coach of the Fireballs, getting pumped 20-12 in U11 or U9 baseball. That hurts.
But also
that hurts as a coach. I don't even know what to say to the kids.
The guy bellowing out the score to all the parents around there that are clearly taping the game. I mean, I don't know who that hurts more for, the people that heard it or the guy that makes himself look like a complete moron.
What are you doing? We're at the game. Everybody knows, like most of us are probably PVR in the game. You don't want to know.
That's why you're there.
And one of the dads is like, 2-0. I'm like, what are you doing? That hurts.
If you wanted updates, they'd ask you.
I don't even think I could have beat this team of 9-year-olds last night. They were that good.
The Marios?
And they knew it, too. They roll in.
Oh, cocky.
They ask our kids before the game right away. They're like, have you guys won every game this year? And our kids were like, nope. And they're like, well, we have. And at that moment, I saw Marshall be like, uh-oh, what are we doing?
Even if you haven't won all your games, quite a question to
It's
pose.
quite a question
That's
to
how you
ask.
come in. Yeah.
Yeah, I like kids with no filter, man. It's just like, I mean, to be honest with you, sometimes they drive me nuts.
Eye black, too,
But,
I assume. They all had.
Oh, yeah. The one kid had chew in. He had a huge dip. It was like, you guys won all your games?
Chains.
What are you doing, man? Like, The kid ran around second. I'm out there and teaching our kids where they're supposed to be in the outfield. Gives me the stink eye the whole way. I'm like, what is this?
Putting up the.
I almost started a brawl.
2 out. Hey, 2 out. They're putting up the.
Yeah. No.
It's outside.
Yeah. No, the one kid. So the one kid. I'm
Rosin
like,
bags.
This is a true story. This one kid's running on, and our kids are leaving the field, and they're coming onto the field. And he said something to one of our kids, and he runs towards us, and he throws his glove at me. Like, as I'm walking off the field, this kid, like, throws his glove at me, and it hits me in the shoulder, and then I catch it. And I don't know this kid. I look at him, I said, why'd you throw your glove at me? He goes, yeah. So I took it. I just threw it over his head the other way, and I walked off. I was like, what are you? This is a weird thing. It was a very weird thing. So
I don't like that, though.
Marshall says he wants another crack at the Marios.
Good.
Yeah. There's some really good ball players on that team.
Well, you got the tape on him now, Marshall, right?
Oh, and now we know.
Now
we know.
You know the arms and
I
the
mean,
bats
it
and
is coach pitch. And I think our coach hit 2 of our own kids last night. So we got to dial that in a little bit, but still a good time.
He's a maniac.
Still a good time. You got to teach him. Back off the plate a little bit, man. That is Coach Pitch's plate, you know?
That hurts. Tough lessons. Eh? Yeah.
All right. Let's get to your sound of the day today. I think we got to go back around to Darnell Nurse, do we not?
The full thing.
I mean, it doesn't really matter, does it? Oh, no, we're not playing the full thing.
It's hockey. Happens.
It's hockey. It happens. When you blow a 2-goal lead, allow 3 goals in less than 4 minutes, and don't get a shot for the first 14 minutes of the second period, and now trail 2-1 in a Western Conference final.
It's hockey. Happens.
Have you ever heard less of a sense of urgency in your life? That's your sound of the day today.
398.
Oh, come on. Let's change 400 right now. Let's go. Hammer that thumbs up before we wrap. Let's get into your text of the day today. Let's go. Let's go with this one from Pat. Actually, this is a pretty good one. Robertson I wonder if I can find a Tombstone soundboard quick enough, because this one is actually pretty good. Let me see. Tombstone soundboard. Let's see if we can bring this up here. I don't know if we'll find it in time. The text is still pretty damn good though. No, I don't think I'll be able to find it. Anyway, this is a good text. This is going to be text of the day today for A&W, where the Whistle Dog is back. Pick up a Whistle Dog today at A&W. It's for a limited time only, so you got to take advantage of it. Robertson to Nurse after the 3rd goal. This is on a Tombstone Tuesday, keep in mind. This comes in from Nasty Kenny. Robertson to Nurse after the 3rd goal. Oh, Johnny, I forgot you were there. You may go now. That is a classic Tombstone line.
Well played. And not one of the...
no, it's not one of the clips that we usually use. That's why I wanted to find it in the... wow. Oh, Johnny, I forgot you were there.
Doesn't even make
you
the
can
soundboard.
Go now.
I love it.
God, that's really good. Real deep pull. Love it. Well done,
Kenny.
Nasty Kenny. You're going to pick up some A&W Whistle Dogs. You lucky dog yourself. All right, what are you watching tonight, buddy?
Moose Jaw Warriors looking for a win. 2 0-2 teams at the Memorial Cup, as Moose Jaw will face Drummondville later tonight. Keeping that goal differential tight, though, so that's always good. And then Jays as well tonight. White Sox, game 2 of that 3-game set. Jays going yard 3 times last night. Gosman on the bump tonight, so maybe you're looking at a little something there. And the other team in Dallas, the Mavericks, looking to join the Celtics in the NBA Finals. They're 3-0 up on the T-Wolves, heading into game 4 tonight from Minnesota. Tip-off, 6:30. And, of course, Rangers-Panthers. It's all going on again, right? Every night, the one set of series, the next night it's the next set of series.
Until the Mavs win tonight.
And then
then you don't get NBA action until June 6th.
But the Stingers are back in action tomorrow as well, so that kind of fits the...
Right here.
Fills it all in, yeah.
On Edmonton Sports
Absolutely.
Talk. You listen to the Stingers live right here on EST tomorrow night. All right, that's going to do it. Zach, took us all to work today, buddy. The fading the ins and the outs there. That's changing 400. That's nice. That's good. All right, for Zacticum and Lieutenant Eric, I am Dustin Nielson. The Hangout is coming up. Lots to discuss on the Edmonton Oilers letting Game 3 slip away. Another 2-0 lead that they could not hold on to. This is starting to become a bit of an issue. We'll continue that conversation tomorrow on The Nielsen Show. Tell your friends about EST. We appreciate the support. Have a great day and take it easy.